going through. They can help with the logistics of selling the home. They'll buy it as is, no need for repairs, cleaning, staging, or showings. No catch. It's one less thing for you to worry about. Simple Quarters, a Christian company dedicated to helping families through life's transitions. If you're facing the challenge of selling a home due to a loved one moving into an assisted living or nursing home, call Simple Quarters at 317-900-HOME. That's 317-900-HOME. Or go to simplequarters.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69. Because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Two of the best summertime traditions are back. The Indiana State Fair and the Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. This year featuring the key lime pie milkshake and the smoked Gouda Q grilled cheese with Gouda cheddar barbecue sauce on Texas toast. The Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. Open 9 to 9 at the Indiana State Fair, across from the Coliseum. Brought to you by American Dairy Association Indiana, your Hoosier Dairy Farm families. Find out more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers studios. Heavy rainfall this morning, where some spots might see some flooding. What the pilot who died in Greenwood Wednesday had as a dream. Gas prices still going up. We'll give you today's rate across the state. And who stepped up for the Fever in last night's win at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Time for Fox News. It's 9 o'clock.
They are challenging President Trump's authority. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Some importing businesses in 12 Democrat-led states go to an appeals court this morning trying to block the tariffs the president's imposing on imports. A lot more going into effect tomorrow. Ahead of that, there's a new trade deal with South Korea.
South Korean imports will be taxed at 15% instead of the 25% that was due to go into effect August 1st. President Trump posts on Truth Social, South Korea will spend $350 billion on investments owned and controlled by the United States, and buy $100 billion worth of liquefied natural gas or other energy products.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. The president also posted it's going to be very hard to do a trade deal with Canada over its threat to recognize a Palestinian state if Israel doesn't stop the war against Hamas, as an international outcry grows over food shortages and starvation in Gaza. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Israel now, restarting talks that stalled.
In recent days, President Trump alluded that a different approach would be needed to free the remaining 20 living hostages, along with the bodies of 30 others.
As Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv, the manhunt's over for a suspected killer in Arkansas.
James McGann was nabbed in the middle of getting a haircut, charged with 2 counts of capital murder in the killings of Clinton and Kristen Brink, who were attacked in front of their daughters as the family hiked Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas Saturday.
That's Fox's Lillian Wu. The girls aged 7 and 9 were not injured physically, but they did lose their parents, and they're now being cared for by family. We just got an inflation update showing a bigger than expected increase in what's called the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index last month, rising 2.6% year over year, up from 2.3 in May. That's an inflation gauge the Federal Reserve watches closely, and it comes the day after Fed Chair Jerome Powell cited concerns tariffs could lead to higher prices.
We expect to see more of that.
So the Fed chose not to cut interest rates. Well, President Trump didn't like that. He wants a big rate cut and posted on Truth Social this morning, Powell is too late, too stupid, too political, and a total loser, costing our country trillions of dollars. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Flood warnings going out. It's 72 and cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. Rain this morning. Watch for flooding in some spots. Your high might reach 80 today. I'm Jarrett Lewis for CBeyondTheAddiction.org. Here's what's trending at 9:02. A flood warning is in effect until noon today for Marion County and some surrounding areas in central Indiana. The National Weather Service says flood advisories have also been sent out for Hancock, Johnson, Marion, and Shelby counties and areas over by Terre Haute. Expect many areas of slow-moving or standing water. And there have already been multiple reports of cars stranded in some flooded areas. As for what the rest of the day has in store.
Across the Indianapolis area, we're starting the day in the low 70s, and we're really not expecting to get any higher than that as we go through the day. If you get along the Ohio River, it will still be a little warm today. We're expecting temperatures in the 80s. Meteorologist Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis expects a dry weekend upcoming with rain possibly returning on Monday. The pilot whose plane crashed in Greenwood Wednesday morning was pursuing a dream that meant a great deal to her. On To Win graduated from Purdue University, and she wanted to become the first Vietnamese woman to finish a solo flight around the world. She gave an update on TikTok right before she got the plane in the air.
I just completed the first leg of my solo flight around the world a few days ago from Oshkosh to Indiana.
Wynn also says she wanted to inspire other Asian women to become aviators. Gas prices climbing higher this week. The average price of gas in the state today is $3.28 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. In Indianapolis, it's $3.32. The cheapest gas in the state is in Evansville at $2.92 a gallon. Wednesday, the first fall practice for the Indiana Hoosier football team. IU head coach Kurt Cignetti talking weather.
It was hot and it was humid, but I thought the older guys, the experienced guys, pushed through it well. The team in general did push through it well. We got our work done, took a business-like approach.
Indiana's first game is August 30th against Old Dominion. Kickoff is at 2:30. Arie McDonald hasn't been with the Fever long, but deciding last night to finish as the team's leading scorer as Indiana beat Phoenix 107-101.
When I seen those 2 threes go in, then I saw how easy it was, like getting into the paint. I'm like, okay, I'm converting. All right, I'm good. Like, let's keep being aggressive or just, keep taking what the defense is giving me.
She put up 27 points. That's 3 wins in a row now for the Fever, which matches their longest win streak of the season. They hope to make it 4 in a row against Dallas on the road tomorrow night. Checking traffic. Good morning, Matt Bear.
What's happening, Jarrett? Looking at a crash on the south side. This is northbound 69 going to State Road 37. And the ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Westbound 465 on the south side. Stop and go from I-69 past Man Road because of a crash. Eastbound 70 crash at West Street, slowing us down to Harding. And then northbound 65 jam because of construction. Keystone Avenue into the south split. It's a 13-minute delay. Westbound 70 slow. Shadeland Avenue into the north split. And southbound 65-70 stop and go. North split down to Fletcher Avenue because of construction. Inbound 69 slows up from 106th Street to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Now the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Morning showers and storms move out. Mostly cloudy, cooler this afternoon. A high of 77. Tonight, clearing skies and comfortable. A low of 62. I'm Wish TV Storm Tracking meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIPC.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9:07 on a Thursday morning, and I think they made a dire mistake. Kendall and Casey are out of the studio, and they accidentally left the doors unlocked, and myself, Ethan Hatcher, and my good friend Brad Klopfenstein, we walked through, and I guess we're doing the show.
Ethan, I feel like I'm in high school, and the parents left the cars in the garage and the liquor cabinet unlocked, and we're going to go out and see how far we can get without completely wrecking the show.
Yeah, it's time to party, and that's kind of the problem that we're going to start off the show with, because there's been a little bit too much partying going on in the Fountain Square district with Fountain Square Skid Row that has popped up right off there on Leonard Street, and you know that the situation has gone completely out of control when James Briggs of the Indy Star apparently agrees with the viewpoint and opinions being expressed in WIBC. Can you believe that, Brad?
The world has come full circle. And by the way, we are talking about illegal partying and not the legal partying that happens all along Virginia Avenue.
Yes, absolutely. And I just wanted to read some excerpts from his article that he published in the Indy Star, because it was a great point that he raised in Fountain Square, where he says the homeless camp there reflects an abject failure of city policy. It's good that Indianapolis is moving to shut it down, but the camp should not have persisted to the point that neighbors felt compelled to form a cleanup crew amid discoveries of needles and mutilated animal remains. Indianapolis has set an impossibly high bar for what warrants shutdown. Well-intentioned empathy has veered into reckless enablement of dangerous behavior, especially drug use and predatory dealing. A reasonable person would have concluded long ago that the Fountain Square camp was threatening the health and safety of people nearby. Homeless rights can't come at the expense of everyone else's. When Indianapolis permits large-scale occupation of public land, that becomes a de facto ban on everyone else from using those spaces or even wanting to go near them. I couldn't have worded it better myself.
That is a great commentary, and I'm with you. Now, my wife actually works down in that area, and I've seen it. She tells me it is horrible.
It's exploded across the city since 2021. You can directly trace this back to when Joe Hogsett implemented the so-called homeless Bill of Rights that allows people to camp in public spaces without an alternative.
Yeah. Well, it is not just Fountain Square. There's others, and you mentioned it's all around town, and it's funny how they can figure out where they can and can't go. So there's another one that's right next to the Menards on Pendleton Pike. It's technically on 42nd Street. The south side of 42nd Street is Indianapolis. The north side is Lawrence. This is on the south side.
So this is in the Lawrence area?
It is in the Lawrence area, but they are smart enough to know don't do it in Lawrence.
Because the difference in regulation,
yes,
difference
exactly.
in approach. And this has gotten so bad, it's pushing people out of the community. Neighbors are attempting to sell their homes, and this was the lament of one Heather Warnicki, who was interviewed and said that she can't sell it because, of course, as soon as people approach the house, they turn right back around and don't even walk in and do the showing.
Neighbors say it began with just a few tents, which they thought would eventually go away. But as more tents popped up, so did more problems.
She said, next time I see you out here, I'm going to come and beat you up.
That's just one of many run-ins Heather Warnicki says she had as the tent camp grew along Leonard Street. She says the trouble followed: violence, harassment, even human waste dumped in her garbage bin.
They seem to be getting more entitled with the stuff that they're doing to my property.
And look at this video that she captured. A man appears to throw rocks at her house. Another doorbell video shows a woman making herself at home on the porch. After police reports got her nowhere, Heather says she gave up. She sold her house and left the county entirely. But even that hasn't been easy.
So every showing that has been scheduled, they have not even entered the home because they pull up and they see the tents across the street.
This will not stand, This aggression will not stand, man.
And make no mistake, it is the city who has enabled this antisocial behavior to affect you. They, at this point, are more concerned with the rights and privileges of the homeless than they are of the freedoms and safety of their citizens. This is a problem, Brad.
That's a huge problem. I mean, it's a public safety problem just because there's a sanitation problem. And you're right. Everybody should be allowed to enjoy public land. And that does not mean you get to live there. You can come in and you can enjoy it, But if you make it so that it's unenjoyable for everybody else, that is a problem. But the bigger problem is there is a drug problem and there is also a mental health problem, and we are not addressing either one of those.
Socialist City Council member Jesse Brown had asked me on social media, what's the expectation here? What do you expect these people to do? Where do you expect them to go? And my expectation from my point of view is very simple. If these individuals choose not to avail themselves of available shelter and social services, because we do need a safety net, and there should be concern and care for the grossly mentally ill or the indigent. In fact, I believe it's provided for in the Indiana Constitution.
It is.
But for those individuals who choose not to avail themselves of those services, my expectation is that they are not located near residential areas where they are going to put their neighbors in direct proximity of their extremely antisocial behaviors, including but not limited to violence, assault, drug paraphernalia left behind in the streets, open defecation, theft, etc.
There's, yes.
Is that unreasonable, Brad?
It is not unreasonable.
High bar?
And some of the problems I've seen, it seems like whenever we have a big event downtown, you'll see more and more homeless coming until the week of the event, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and they get pushed out to wherever, and then they leak back in. Luger Plaza over there at City Hall has always been a problem.
Yeah, the new nickname is Loogie Plaza.
Right. And but it is whatever we tolerate as a society, we will get more of, and that is absolutely happening in Fountain Square right now. You're right. There are services available for all of these people, and they're choosing not to use those services and choosing to live on the street. And I would say very few, like 1 or 2% of them, are actually people who just choose to be homeless, who are not otherwise drug addicted or otherwise mentally ill. The other 98% needs help.
And that's the problem. We're not facing reality. We continue to live in this state of denial where the belief that liberals want to put forward is that all of these folks are victims of society and circumstance rather than bad decisions and their own personal responsibility. Ryan Hedrick has done some amazing work. He's been interviewing these homeless people in encampments around the city. You brought up drug abuse as a prime reason for their condition. Not according to Ashley, who Ryan Hedrick interviewed. She says drugs aren't the problem here. Of course not.
Drug use is going on everywhere. I feel like some can hide it, some don't. That doesn't mean that us out here being homeless is due to drug use. We all have a different story. We all have a different background story. We all have different mental health diagnoses. It's not necessarily drug use. They want to put it as drug use just because this person may have done a drug at past time, and they hold them to that regardless. But I'm telling you, I've done job applications, not gotten calls back. But when I'm worried about where I'm going to sleep every day, it's kind of hard to go sit in a library comfortably and focus on doing job applications.
I will say that the library is probably a hard place to focus if the room is spinning.
Ethan, you could not be more correct.
And I went to a community meeting in Fountain Square on Monday evening that was supposed to address the homeless situation. And my conclusion was that these are deeply unserious people, Brad, because the primary problem that they outlined, these are representatives from the city, and in their estimation, the issue is that the barrier for receiving aid is too high. It is simply unfair for these shelters to make drug and alcohol-free requirements for individuals to be housed there. Their proposed solution, as outlined in the plan, is to throw money at local landlords to keep units open in perpetuity so they can cycle individuals in and out of these housing units free of any kind of requirement.
No, that is not the answer to this. You have to solve the root problem, and whether that is incarceration or treatment. I mean, and pretty much anybody who's been around this town for 25 years or more will tell you this was not a problem until Central State Hospital got shut down. Now, Central State had some issues where they were not being great to patients, that notwithstanding, that can be fixed. But just saying we're not going to treat anybody for mental illness or drug addiction, that is not a solution.
You will get more of the behavior you subsidize, and without eliciting any level of accountability, the situation will only get worse. Now, the reason why that camp over on Leonard Street and Virginia Avenue was closed down is directly because of public pressure and public attention that has focused on the Fountain Square Skid Row. So it is now incumbent upon you, the public, and neighbors and members of the community, to continue to put up the pressure, continue to focus attention on these problems, because that's the only way you're going to get resolution to this.
They've got to. So I told you my wife's business is down there. So she works for a not-for-profit that treats young children with blindness. So their families come to her facility, and they are oftentimes having to weave around the sidewalk. Now, mind you, these kids are blind, and they're having to dodge the homeless on the sidewalk to get into her facility.
That's completely unacceptable. And unfortunately, there is not going to be a quick resolution to this problem, which is why it's incumbent upon us, the members of the public, to continue to put up the pressure.
Oh, we've got to. And for anybody who's listening, contact your city county councilors. You might think that there's lots of people who talk to these folks. No, they get almost no input from the public. So if you send one email, that is one more than they've probably gotten.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in. Coming up next, we're going to give you more details about that terrible plane crash that happened nearby Greenwood yesterday, as well as the police-involved shooting on the near west side of Indianapolis. Stay tuned.
Another update is just minutes away.
Steady, heavy rain, flooding in low-lying spots.
Yeah, heavy rain moving eastward across the state.
Cars underwater.
Hear the news.
5-day manhunt in Arkansas, murdering a couple on a hiking trail.
Hunt you down and bring you to justice.
Stay in the know while you're on the go.
Trade deal with South Korea.
We'll spend $350 billion on investments.
House exploded. Southern Indiana.
Unknown what caused the explosion.
On air and online. 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
What if one day could change the trajectory of your life? A sharpening of character, a challenge to grow deeper, stand stronger, and lead better in faith, family, and purpose. At the Life Church Men's Event on Saturday, August 2nd, you'll hear raw truth from men who've been through the fire. You'll worship, connect, and leave with more than inspiration. You'll leave with a battle plan. Show up, lean in, let God do the rest. Register at lifechurchin.com.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
gentlemen, this is the Kendall and Casey Show, an excellent song selection by producer Kevin. This segment, we wanted to talk about a little bit on the tragic plane crash that happened in Greenwood just yesterday. A plane narrowly missing a Circle K and several other buildings. Apparently, according to witnesses, it was thanks to the selfless actions in the final moments of this pilot as she rapidly descended. And now we have the name of the pilot who has been identified.
Her name is Antu Nguyen. Officials here tell us she was the only person inside that plane. According to her social media, she says she was a B-767 ferry pilot, and she had posted several of her videos on social media, including one just this morning talking about flying from Indiana to Pennsylvania today. We've also learned this afternoon she is a Purdue graduate. Now, according to the university, Nguyen grew up in Vietnam and was always fascinated by what she called flying machines in sky. When she was 12, Purdue says she came to the United States and eventually studied math and aerospace engineering at Purdue. They say she also founded a nonprofit in 2018 for Asian women in aerospace. Then in 2020, she opened Dragonflight Training Academy down in Florida. And just last year, she became the 10th woman ever to fly solo around the world, according to the university. In that final video she posted really just hours ago, she made a comment about how she was excited to be back in the plane. It felt like more than a flight. It felt like inspiration and a mission to inspire the next generation of pilots.
I can't imagine how her family must be feeling. What a tragic way to go. And again, I want to emphasize the selfless actions that she took in her final moments to make sure that that plane, whatever it took, didn't hit that Circle K and become a mass casualty incident.
It's terrible. You're right. I mean, that shows her skill as a pilot. If you saw any of the photos, I mean, literally that plane, she managed to land it, crash, 30 feet from the Circle K, and I think there's a Wendy's right next door to that. So somehow
that's incredible.
She threaded the needle to not take out either one of those buildings. But yeah, it's a sad story all the way around. And yeah, obviously a very accomplished pilot and very remarkable what she was doing with her life. And it's sad that this was the end.
I mean, it's kind of a sobering reminder that the forces of nature are still stronger than mankind. Even though we have mastered flight, if something goes wrong, you're still going to plummet like a rock.
Yes, I know. It gives me pause. I'm supposed to take a Cessna flight to Put-in Bay up on Lake Erie here in 3 weeks.
Giving that a second thought?
I'm still going to do it.
Lake Erie. I mean, you could drive to Michigan, my friend.
I could. I could, but it'll be fun. I got a friend that's got a plane, so he's going to ferry us up there. So, yeah, if I don't see you again after that flight, Ethan, it's been great knowing you.
Well, it's been great hosting with you, Brad. Of course, Indianapolis also had another tragedy this week. Fortunately, it did not result in a police fatality, although it was a police-involved shooting up there on the near west side in the vicinity of 16th and Harding, and this was described by IMPD, how the incident unfolded.
On July 29th, 2025, shortly after 2 p.m., an IMPD officer began following a carjacked vehicle near the intersection of West 16th Street and North Harding Street after running a license plate check. The vehicle entered a nearby apartment complex, and at that point, the IMPD North District officer in fully marked car activated his emergency lights, stopped the vehicle. The carjacked vehicle pulled into a parking spot in the apartment complex located at 2100 Emmerich Lane. A total of 4 suspects were in the vehicle, and 1 male passenger immediately ran from the vehicle. At that moment, the officer attempted to take the driver into custody and had him seated on the ground. As this was happening, 2 additional passengers exited the vehicle. One of those passengers walked around to the front of the vehicle and began firing in the direction of the officer. The IMPD officer was struck by gunfire at least 3 times, and the officer returned fire, resulting in an officer-involved shooting.
And at the scene, he actually had to deploy his own tourniquet, and it probably saved his life, Brad. This all resulted from a traffic stop.
Right, a traffic stop, and I think what they said, a carjacked vehicle?
Yeah.
Which I did hear that a couple of the residents from that neighborhood came out and was assisting that officer as he was trying to treat himself. So kudos to the neighbors that are there. But you're right, there is a lack of authority or a lack of respect for authority or empathy. I'm not sure what it is, but the crime in this city, violent crime certainly, has certainly been on an increase here lately. I don't know if that has to do with the heat, but yeah, nothing like this should ever result in a shooting. And it's terrible that it ended up the way it did.
It's an epidemic across the city, and one of those neighbors had actually spoken with John Herrick here from WIBC and noted the problem that violent crime is increasing around Indianapolis, and it's not as bad as it used, or it is much worse, I should say, than it used to be. It's gotten significantly worse in just the last decade. This was noted by one of the witnesses to that incident.
So we're at a crime scene. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
I heard that it was a shooting over here in my apartment complex. It kind of puts you on edge because I live here with 3 young little boys. I'm a single mom, so like I said, every night we hear gunshots, but for it to happen directly in our apartment complex, that's a problem, and that's scary. That's too close to home, and that makes you feel like you're not safe. I feel like if we had some more security over here, then it would be better, because living over here, you see so many people with guns, extendos, it makes you nervous. Guns make me uneasy. So I don't like guns,
There's shell casings on the ground and there's a body on the ground. That's real.
That's real. Yeah, that's not a movie. That's real. You see the body, you see the blood, you see the officers getting the shell casings. That's real, and that's something that I don't want my boys to see. I'm glad that they didn't see it, but like I said, it's too close to home. It makes you scared. It's too much killing in the city. Indianapolis got so bad. It didn't used to be this bad.
But this whole place sucks. That's right, it sucks.
It's been going downhill since 2015, in my estimation, Brad, and I would lay this squarely at the feet of Marion County prosecutor, friend of the miscreant, Ryan Mears, because of his lax approach to enforcement around the city, the revolving door of the criminal justice system, and his unwillingness to hold criminals to account. They feel like, and this has been directly quoted, they have a get-out-of-jail-free card with this prosecutor.
Yeah, Now, I see that they've got two individuals that are in custody. What are the odds that both of those have been in custody at some point this summer?
I haven't looked at the My Case, but you know what? I bet if we looked that up during the break, we would find that answer out real quick.
By the way,
one of them's also in critical condition. Officer was a good shot.
Yeah. Training served him well. The last person that was being interviewed, what's an extendo?
I think they mean long magazine or extra magazine capacity. I don't know.
So now, I always used to say that at least during the daytime hours, there was not a neighborhood in Marion County that I would be afraid to walk through. You live on the east side. I'm up on the northeast side. Is that still true?
For the most part, I mean, violent crime seems to be a nighttime activity. But that being said, I'm not doing much jogging around the east side of Indianapolis.
So now you own a bunch of properties around Indianapolis.
Yeah, on the east side.
So do you get feedback from your residents, your tenants?
I actually have one of the tenants who is getting ready to leave a property because of the out-of-control problems, specifically with vagrants near the property. We have attempted to contact the city councilor, and there's just no resolution to this. And it ties into the first segment because they're unwilling to deal with the homeless problem.
Yeah. So how do you choose your properties, and at what point do you bail on one?
I haven't reached the point where I'm willing to bail yet. I choose my properties because this is where I live, and I'm trying to build in proximity to where I already own properties.
Okay. Well, kudos to you. I mean, we've got so many out-of-state, and they're basically corporations or investment firms that own property that really take no active interest in maintaining them. All they're doing is collecting rent. We need more people like you who are willing to maintain these houses and try to improve the communities that they're in. And I think that that's probably one of the keys to just improving the general atmosphere in Marion County.
I would agree entirely. When you have too much out-of-state investment, people aren't tied then to the community, and there's less incentive for them to improve it compared to local owners who are invested in the areas that they live and work.
Yeah. Now, I had a house on the east side. I sold it 4 months ago. I still get 3 calls a day, people wanting to buy it. But they're just dialing numbers. You probably get a dozen calls a day or more.
Yeah, dozens. Unfortunately, that's all the time we got because we got to go to the news next on 93 WIBC.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
New sanctions on Iran. It's cloudy, 73 now in the Circle City, 77 the high today. I'm Jarrett Lewis for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 9:31. The State Department announces updated sanctions to disrupt Iran, its nuclear development, and terrorism ties.
The State Department says its sanctions target dozens of entities and vessels involved in the trade and transfer of Iranian petroleum and related products. The sanctions will affect buyers as well as transporters. Companies the sanctions target are in China, India, Indonesia, and the United Arab Emirates, among other nations. In addition, the Treasury Department is singling out an Iranian regime insider and more than 100 assets connected to him to face those sanctions. The moves are said to be in line with President Trump's maximum pressure campaign on Iran to pursue peace.
Fox's Gernal Scott reporting. The Federal Open Markets Committee keeping interest rates steady for a fifth time on Wednesday amid calls from President Trump and members of his administration to lower interest rates. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell told reporters the central bank will continue monitoring how tariffs will affect costs of consumer goods.
It's starting to show up in consumer prices, as you know, in the June report. We expect to see more of that. And we know from surveys that companies feel that they have every intention of putting this through to the consumer. But, you know, the truth is they may not be able to in many cases.
Powell again cited continued economic uncertainty from President Donald Trump's tariffs. And former Vice President Kamala Harris is announcing she will not be running for California governor. Harris was considered to be the leading contender to unseat current Governor Gavin Newsom. Now your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is up 50 points, 44,460. The S&P 500 also up 53 points, 6,362. And the NASDAQ is in the green, 300 points to 24,345. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
Do you need air conditioning service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust, like Family Heating and Air Conditioning? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Cardon & Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service. Visit cardon.us to find a community near you.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
I'm Angelique Gibson. I'm a union laborer from Local 120.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, like Angelique, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
The main thing I volunteered for was the Back to School Bash. It's a backpack program for kids 12 and under.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LIUNA steps up.
When kids go back to school, they don't have backpacks 9 times out of 10, low-income families, and this just helps them out.
For the members of LIUNA who volunteer, it's commitment to being part of something bigger than themselves.
You know, when they start school on that first day, they got pencils, they got papers, they got notebooks, they got binders.
This is Chris Bricky, Business Manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
I just feels good knowing that I'm helping somebody that needs help.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
Girl, you gotta love your man.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey show with Ethan and Brad filling in. And it seems that the Indianapolis Democrats have been plagued by a wave of accusations of sexual impropriety, going from Thomas Carl Cook to Greg Taylor, and now another sitting city council member, Nick Roberts, has found himself in the crosshairs of allegations. However, in this case, when the Fishers police dug into it, they found there was insufficient evidence for probable cause, and the charges have been dismissed.
Yes, I feel like this case is different from the others.
You actually know
I know Nick Roberts very well, and I've been in communication with him here in the last 24 hours. Yeah, this was a situation where he had, I think, 2 dates with a young woman, which, mind you, Nick is young himself. Nick is only 24. I think he just turned 24.
Yeah, the young woman is 18, and yes, he just turned 24.
So, yeah, so it's not age inappropriate. But they had a couple dates out in public, and he admits, he's like, yes, I kissed her. She says that he held her against her will and groped her. And Nick's like, listen, we were on the Monon Trail in Fishers. He goes, I know there's cameras out there. This didn't happen. But when I say that I think this one is different, my understanding is that her parents are big conservatives, and this might be somewhat politically motivated as far as these allegations.
That's what you're speculating?
That's been implied to me.
Okay. I think that the counselor has handled this fairly well, and he's done it by being incredibly transparent.
Correct.
And he's shared the messages, he's showed the receipts, and he made this post explaining the situation on Facebook.
Hey everybody, Nick Roberts here. I just want to take a moment real quick to speak directly to you all regarding a recent false allegation that was made against me. On July 12th, for the first time, I saw a secondhand defamatory post in a Facebook group which accused me of unwanted physical contact with a woman who I went on 2 dates with. First of all, I just want to completely deny the allegation of doing anything inappropriate. Quite frankly, I'm not sure why this slanderous post was made about me, but it's incredibly hurtful, and not just to me, but to my entire family and everyone who knows my character. I was raised to respect to all people, and I would never engage in unwanted physical contact with a woman without her consent. Because I did nothing wrong, and because I value transparency, I just wanted to share the details of what actually happened. After her and I matched on the dating app Hinge, she texted me for the first time on June 29th to invite me to get brunch with her. At the end of the date, with her permission, I kissed her on the cheek. After the date, she texted me, and she appreciated that kiss and agreed that she would like more next time. She then asked me on a second date where we got ice cream and walked around Fishers. Both dates were in public, where we were just walking around downtown, and nothing inappropriate happened. We kissed consensually, which I had the text messages to prove, and the date proceeded as normal. At the end of this date, she once again leaned in for a kiss on the cheek, and we left in our own 2 cars.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
And what a terrible spot to find yourself in, to be behind these accusations. Thank goodness he had the text messages in this case to back up his version of events.
Right. It is. Yeah, this is horrible. There are plenty of elected officials that I think are fair game on something like this, but to go after Nick.
Look at the extensive coverage that WIBC has paid to the scandal of Thomas Carl Cook, and the sympathy that we have shown to the victims of his incredibly inappropriate behavior. And the same goes for Greg Taylor and the string of women and the allegations that they have made. At no point has anyone here disputed those claims or tried to cast aspersions on the victims.
Right. So Yeah, in this instance, I don't know. Well, actually, I do know.
Because the Fishers police looked into this.
The Fishers police looked at it and said, there is nothing here.
The Fishers police concluded that there was insufficient evidence to move forward with probable cause. And Mir Indy republished some of the conversation between Roberts and this young woman, and I'll read an excerpt from their article. Before they parted ways, she said he gave her a hug and kissed her on the cheek. When she texted him later that day to thank him for the gesture, he said, quote, "It was my pleasure, and you can get another and maybe more next time," according to the text messages viewed by Mir Indy. Robert said he interpreted her next message, though, to be consent, where she wrote, quote, "I hope so. I'd like that."
I would think that's saying I
yes.
would like to have another kiss. Now it's
that would seem to imply consent to me or to any reasonable person, Brad.
Right. So yes, I don't want to victim shame, but I think in this case these are, I think, exaggerated allegations, if not completely false allegations. And then you start asking, all right, should there be consequences to people who make false allegations?
The attorney, and I appreciate the attorney was pretty delicate in this situation, as you would expect a representative of the law to be, and speculated perhaps this young woman was out too late and in a pinch, trying to come up with justification for her parents, came up with this story, and it got out of control far too quickly.
And that's very possible as well. It's a bad situation, and I feel bad for anybody who finds themselves in this situation. Sure. Not of their own doing.
I feel like this touches on a broader conversation of why young men around America are walking on eggshells and pins and needles and feel intimidated to even approach women in public, because we have been made to feel like creeps and jerks for expressing an interest. This was something that was lamented by a young woman on TikTok walking through the park, evidently hoping that someone would pay attention to her, only to be met with silence.
Tell me why every day I go out looking adorable, bouncing, skin glistening, and yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever. Oh my God, please. I'll take a construction worker catcall at this point. Please.
Oh, what are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? What are the rules? When you've kept your brain, but the world's insane, how the hell you gonna find out the rules?
When interest has been weaponized against young men at such a scale, I feel like it, of course, is an explanatory factor in why things are so hard in the dating world right now.
Well, they are. In this case, obviously, we're talking about a very young elected official, but a very bright person that he's a Democrat, but he's the kind of Democrat that I think you and I like, because he's very conscientious, has some fiscal conservative things about him. But I mean, obviously, because he is an elected official, this has become very public. I fear that we're going to lose a good elected official over something like this. And you're right. And in this case, I mean, Nick's still fairly young, and he looks even younger than he is. Yeah, talk about not wanting to get back out in the dating world after this. I wouldn't blame him.
Nobody deserves to have false allegations weaponized against them. And I think if they can be provably false, then perhaps consequences for the accusers should be discussed.
I would more than tend to agree. So now, the music that you just had, that almost sounded like the old Saturday morning when they did I'm Just a Bill.
That was a funeral of Queen Mary. It was popularly utilized in Clockwork Orange by Stanley Kubrick.
Okay. So it sounded like you could almost run that on Saturday morning television, and it would be equally appropriate.
Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Ethan Hatcher and Brad filling in on Kendall and Casey. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the world's most expensive popcorn bucket. Are you a buyer?
I want one.
Stay tuned.
Hammer and Nigel Show, we got a lot of giveaways for you. Tickets to go see Kansas with Jefferson Starship. Tickets to go see Jason Aldean. Tickets to the Indiana State Fair. The biggest stories, the biggest laughs, 93 WIBC.
You know, sometimes dealing with home service contractors can be frustrating, whether it's missed appointments, sloppy workmanship, or just a general sense of indifference about helping you. Frustrating hardly describes that experience, Hammer.
And that's why we want to welcome a new advertiser to the Hammer and Nigel family, somebody you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months, Victor's Home Solutions.
Victor's installs the highest quality roofs available for your home, and they take all those negative stereotypes and turn them on their head.
They start with the basics, prompt, follow-up, showing up to appointments on time. And then they go above and beyond with installation teams that are so skilled, so precise, that Victor's is able to offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install.
5-star customer service and perfect installation. You're going to be really impressed with Victor's. They're the only roofer Hammer and I recommend to our listeners. It all starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. Call 1-866-VICTORS or victors.com. I've had my Window Nation windows installed for a couple of years now, and my air conditioner is no longer working overtime in the summer. These are the dog days of summer, but if your windows are old and drafty, time for some new Window Nation windows. Check it out, 50% off all Windows styles plus 0 interest for 5 whole years. All the details at windownation.com.
And when Window Nation comes out to your house, they are bringing the best of the best. A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, and their staff, years of experience. And look, when we have a heat wave like we had recently, I think you understand how important it is to have good windows that keep the blistering hot out and your perfect climate inside. 50% off all window styles. Any style at all, 0 interest until 2030. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 HRV LX all-wheel drive for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake.
Visit us off State Road 37 for special pricing during our summer sales event. With approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only, not combinable with other offers. All fees due at signing. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends July 31st. See dealer for details.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Fill your tank. Don't drain your wallet. Sam's Club lets you save time at the pump with Scan and Go checkout at Sam's Club fuel stations. Just scan the QR code on the pump and pay. Visit your local Sam's Club today.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel all this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Kansas and Jefferson Starship, a frontline benefit concert on Friday, October 10th at Everwise Amphitheater.
Listening to the one and only 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in. Recently, Fantastic Four First Steps has released nationally to theaters, and in concert with that, they have also released, to date, the world's largest popcorn bucket. And this can be yours for a measly $80.
Behold, from Fantastic Four, Galactus. Here at the Chinese Theater, we are unveiling the wonderful, huge popcorn bucket that is the world's largest according to Guinness Book of World Records. And it is $80, and people are currently eating it up.
So I cannot wait to see this movie. Can't wait to see Galactus go crazy and eat some worlds. So yeah, I'm hyped.
Here at this wonderful theater, you can actually buy the biggest popcorn bucket ever in the world. That is the Galactus popcorn bucket from Fantastic Four First Steps. This is $80. It's massive at 20 inches wide and 17.5 inches tall. Carries 341 ounces of popcorn. Now, it has a beautiful detail with metallic finish and piercing bright blue LED eyes. And you can purchase it here right at the TCL Chinese Theater.
I think these buckets are fantastic. I think the idea
idea that the studios are doing this to get people back in the theaters is really cool. I obviously wouldn't have got this if I didn't come to the theaters, and I think it's like designed very well, and it's got a lot of popcorn, so cool.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
$80 for a popcorn bucket? And Brad, you said you'd be a buyer?
It's a mighty big bucket, Ethan.
Yeah, mighty big's a good word
If
for
I
it.
were to take my $80, my bucket of popcorn, and do a popcorn bath, just like in that movie Flashdance.
Oh, you're going to be one of those jerks like the Minecraft movie, throwing popcorn everywhere and trashing up the theater? No.
No,
Don't be doing that, Brad.
Do you know how much beer I could buy for $80?
Well, that's the thing. If you're just buying this bucket for $80, I don't know if that includes a drink, but I do know most tickets are $10 to $15 if you're not, getting the matinee. So you are committing yourself to, at a bare minimum, $100 just to go watch a movie. I mean, hey, it's a free country and this is a capitalist society, so you can do whatever we want with your money.
That's enough popcorn for your entire row. Probably the row in front of you and the row behind you as well. What did it say? 300 and some ounces of popcorn?
Well, if you're 381, I think
was that like 20 pounds?
I don't know how much that is. Kevin, would you be a buyer? When was the last time you went to a movie theater? Have you ever bought one of these themed popcorn buckets? It seems like that's a recent invention. That's only been coming out for the last couple years.
Yeah, I've never had the popcorn or the themed popcorn, but I just get the regular bucket. It's probably like $10.
And that's $10 on the cheap side, and that's expensive enough as it is. I'm not spending $80 on this popcorn bucket. I don't care how artfully crafted it is and metallic, and it has LED blue lights. It's not.
That's why you go to the drive-in. You can bring whatever you want. By the way, we've said a couple times now during the show. We were talking off air. How many is a couple to you?
See, I think a couple is anywhere from 2 to 5. But I've had people chastise me for, referring to like 4 as a couple. They're like, well, no, a couple is strictly 2.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that, Kev?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think of like a romantic couple, I mean, that's only 2 people, right? I think
unless it's a thruple.
I was about to say it can be
a
3.
It can always be a thruple, depending on how open you are to that. But yeah, I just thought couple was universally. I thought it universally meant 2.
What about when you're drinking beers?
Well, you definitely want to say a couple then.
Especially to the authorities?
Yeah,
I've only had a couple.
You wouldn't be saying a few.
No. That's...
Yes, I've had at least a gross.
But you know what you're not getting a couple of is these popcorn buckets, because then you're spending $160 just for 2 of those things. $200, and if you're bringing your family, you're committing yourself to like a $200 day just to go out to the movies and then get yourself this popcorn bucket. That's prohibitively expensive. Is that really drawing people into the theaters?
I bet they'll only sell one of these a day, maybe. This is, when I was listening to this, I'm like, this is some PR person who's trying to earn their money, and they're like, what can we do to get some attention? We will have the world's largest bucket of popcorn.
What was, and this is a question for both of you, what was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Oh, gosh.
Has it been that long?
Yes.
Ooh,
I've only seen one movie in a theater with my wife, and I distinctly remember we got there like 3 to 5 minutes after the showtime, and apparently nobody had bought tickets up to that point, and there was discussion at the ticket booth. They're like, well, this was a no-sale show, so it's not even playing. And then they're like, well, these 2 want to go. Do we play it? And
if you're advertising the showtime, then heck yes, you play it.
Yeah, so they finally did it, and we had the whole theater to ourselves.
What about you, Kev?
The last time I went to the movies was about 2 months ago. I saw the movie Warfare.
Okay.
Set in the Iraq War during the Battle of Ramadi.
Last one I saw was a Father's Day screening of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and what a great screening it was. Reminds you of what movies used to be like and why you went to the theater. It was for the quality of the film, not the popcorn bucket.
For sure. That's what you go for.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. We got 2 more hours coming up. Don't miss a moment. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. I've been working out there now for nearly 2 decades, and let me tell you, it works. I'm in my 70s now, and I'm doing things on the farm that I couldn't even do in my 40s. Lifting and carrying, working the way I want to, without worrying if my body can keep up. Now that's real strength. That's real results. What makes Exercise Inc. different? Well, it's the people. The professional staff, many with over 15 years of experience, know exactly how to guide me, support me, and push me to be my very strongest because they know what works. It only takes 20 minutes a week. No wasted time, no crowded gyms, just real results. If you're tired of feeling weaker, if you want more energy and strength for everyday life, give this a try. The consultation is free, and I can promise you it's worth it. Exercise Inc. It's helped me stay strong for nearly 20 years. They can help you too. Go to exerciseinc.com today to sign up. They've got locations in Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood, and in Fishers too. That's exerciseinc.com.
When you own a business, it feels like everything's on you. Orders, deliveries, employees, on you. That's why Comcast Business is giving you a year of mobile on us with your internet service.
Really?
Yep. We'll cover your first line of mobile for 1 year. So calling customers, getting directions, texting Janine and shipping, on us. The broken coffee maker? That one's still on you, which means you'll save hundreds for your business and get the fastest mobile service with 5G cellular and Wi-Fi hotspots on us. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Get a mobile plan and free up the budget to maybe, I don't know, fix that coffee maker? Get mobile on us for 1 year, you guessed it, on us. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/22/25. Restrictions apply. New mobile customers only with internet standard service or above. Limited to value of one unlimited intro-line apply via 12 monthly internet bill credits. One discount per account. Fastest mobile based on mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data in service areas. Ookla Speed Test Intelligence 2H24.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at joynerhomes.com.
And passed suddenly with an old estate plan from a first marriage. Now her family is stuck in court, arguing over everything. I know I have to do better for mine. With Trust and Will, I can make a legally valid estate plan online. Fast, affordable, and customized for my state. Go to trustandwill.com and use code RADIO for 20% off. Don't leave a mess behind. Leave a plan. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
An official message from Medicare.
I'm saving money on my Medicare prescriptions. Maybe you can save too. With Medicare's Extra Help program, my premium is $0 and my out-of-pocket costs are low. Who should apply? Single people making less than $24,000 a year or married couples who make less than $32,000. Even if you don't think you qualify, it pays to find out.
Go to ssa.gov/extrahelp. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
In 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, rain today, but what about the rest of this week? We'll have that forecast in a few moments. Plus, where a home exploded last night and how many people were injured in that. More on the pilot who tragically died Wednesday in Greenwood in a plane crash, and how Anthony Richardson is feeling now in his third Colts training camp. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Paying their last respects. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Dieterul Islam, the off-duty New York City police officer, murdered while working security at a high-rise building in Manhattan Monday in a gunman shooting spree that left 3 others dead.
The 36-year-old leaves behind 2 young kids and a pregnant wife.
Fox's Alexis McAdams outside a mosque in the Bronx where funeral services for Officer Islam are underway. As for the gunman, Shane Tamura, who killed himself, he drove from Las Vegas to carry out the attack.
Police tell us he bought that murder weapon from his work supervisor in Nevada. So he worked out at a casino in the area. This was his manager. He gave this guy $1,400 $100 just to get the rifle, we're told. That person is being questioned in Las Vegas, but is cooperating.
A school teacher is now an accused killer in Arkansas. James McGann arrested while getting a haircut, charged with murdering a married couple on a hiking trail in a state park Saturday.
The couple who recently moved to Arkansas was with their two daughters, just 7 and 9 years old. Those little girls are thankfully safe. They are with family members. While police have not said how they managed to escape, the family released a statement saying that Clinton and Kristen died heroes protecting their little girls.
That's Fox's Brooke Taylor. An appeals court's about to start a hearing challenging President Trump's authority to impose tariffs filed by some import businesses in 12 Democrat-led states. The day before new tariffs go into effect on imports from countries worldwide, South Korea has just worked out a trade deal with the U.S., lowering a threatened 25% tariff to 15%. Another inflation update just out shows another rise. The gauge the Federal Reserve monitors closest, called personal consumption expenditures,
rising for the second month, 2.6%. The expectation was 2.5% on an annual basis. Month over month, it came in as expected, hotter than May, 0.3%.
Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti, the day after the Fed did not cut interest rates like President Trump wanted. He posted on Truth Social, Chairman Jerome Powell's a total loser. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Cooler weather is here. It's cloudy and 70 now in downtown Indianapolis. The low, or the high, keeps dropping. It's now set at 74 for today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Heavy rain and flooding made Thursday morning's commute tough, but the rain cleared by mid-morning, and National Weather Service forecaster Andrew White says it should stay dry for this weekend.
And then looking into next week, rain chances come back as early as Monday, but the better chances really don't get into the central Indiana area until Tuesday to Wednesday.
White says some parts of Indiana got up to 2 inches of rain in under 6 hours. A flood warning is in effect until noon today for Indianapolis and surrounding areas. 5 people are now recovering from injuries that they sustained in a southern Indiana house explosion. The Jeffersonville Fire Department put out a fire at the home after it exploded late Wednesday night. 2 of the people from that house had to be airlifted to a local hospital. The other 3 transported by ambulance. The severity of their injuries is unknown. It's also unknown what caused the explosion. As of this morning, crews were cleaning up debris at the scene. The pilot whose plane crashed in Greenwood Wednesday morning going after a dream. John Herrick reports.
Ann Tu Nguyen graduated from Purdue University, and she wanted to become the first Vietnamese woman to finish a solo flight around the world. She gave an update on TikTok right before she got the plane in the air.
I just completed the first leg of my solo flight around the world a few days ago from Oshkosh to Indiana.
So she was on the second leg of her journey when the plane crashed. Nguyen said she also wanted to use this solo flight as a way to inspire other Asian women to become aviators. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson says he feels he is in a better spot than at this point last year during training camp.
I feel like I got more control over the ball. I feel like I'm getting the ball to him, but that's my job as a quarterback. Deliver the ball and make it so guys can go out there and make plays. So
he and Daniel Jones have been splitting first-team reps. There's no clear sign yet of who may be in the lead in that quarterback competition. And make it 3 wins in a row now for the Indiana Fever. Ari McDonald put up 27 points to lead the team to a 107-101 victory over the Phoenix Mercury last night. Aaliyah Boston added 22. Indiana will hit the road to face Dallas tomorrow night and begin the month of August. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
I'm Angelique Gibson. I'm in union labor from Local 120.
For members of Labor's International Union of North America, like Angelique, giving back is part of their commitment to the Indy community.
The main thing I volunteered for was the Back to School Bash. It's a backpack program for kids 12 and under.
When Indy or surrounding communities need help, LIUNA steps up.
When kids go back to school, they don't have backpacks 9 times out of 10, low-income families, and this just helps them out.
For the members of LIUNA who volunteer, it's commitment to being part of something bigger than themselves.
When they start school on that first day, they got pencils, they got papers, they got notebooks, they got binders.
This is Chris Bricky, business manager of Labor's Local 120. While all our members are skilled, highly trained men and women, we are also your friends, neighbors, Little League coaches, and volunteers here in Indy.
I just feels good knowing that I'm helping somebody that needs help.
We build Indy for good jobs and stronger communities. We are LIUNA Local 120.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. Ethan and Brad filling in. Producer Kevin on the board. If you've missed a moment of the show, you can find the podcast uploaded to WIBC.com under the Kendall and Casey page. And thanks to Rob and Casey for having us in today. Brad, I am having a severe case of deja vu. I feel at this point we are treading water to the point of distraction and returning to a harbor where we've already been. Now Donald Trump is discussing, again, the idea of putting Hillary Clinton in jail. This was an interview with Fox News.
Yeah, so, we had Hillary Clinton down to whatever we wanted to do with her, and I felt it was inappropriate. She's the wife of a president. She was a Secretary of State, and we could have done a very big number.
Yeah.
And I said, we don't want to be doing that. Let's, put it into the country and not the concept of putting her in jail, indicting her, all the things that you have to do. It's tough stuff. And I said, we don't want to do that. In fact, you remember I made speeches when I mentioned her name. They started saying, lock her up. Yeah. And I said, no, this is after we won. We just won. And I said,
you wanted the country
we have to
heal.
get back to, we want to heal. And yet they did it to me.
Yeah.
So I feel differently. I mean, I'm a human being. I have my feelings too. And so I feel differently about it.
Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic.
What do you mean you've seen this? It's brand new.
Yeah, well, I saw it on a rerun.
It's a rerun.
You'll find out.
Brad, how's he going to act like he wasn't the one that was leading the chants? He was the one that was leading the chants. Lock her up. He was dancing to it. He's doing the Trump dance. Oh, no, I was the senior statesman.
Yeah.
I was telling the crowd, no, we won't do that. What?
Oh, Ethan.
I'm exhausted, Brad.
I don't know. It's not quite the movie Idiocracy. It's close.
It's almost. We're almost there.
Yes.
President Camacho.
But it is. If right now, it doesn't matter what happened in the past and what we know as a fact happened in the past. Now they just tell you that never happened, and now we move forward, and people just accept it as, oh yeah, it was never like that. The hell you weren't.
How can you operate in a world like this where we have constant media attention? This is on tape. We can go back and roll the tapes. What are you talking about? We can verify reality. We don't have to take your word for it.
But people just take his word for it. Ethan, all I can do is shrug my shoulders. It's like, what kind of bizarro world are we living in? Because you're right. All of this stuff is verifiable. It's not even just a paper trail. It's on tape. It's on video. And I don't know.
This is coming hot off the heels last week where Tulsi Gabbard did that huge information dump and essentially threw Hillary Clinton under the bus with what she said were Russian intelligence reports of how mentally troubled she was at the time that the Obama administration had allegedly sat on during the election.
In a January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory. The report goes into great detail about the information that Russia and Putin had on Hillary Clinton, which included possible criminal acts like secret meetings with multiple named U.S. religious organizations in which State Department officials offered, in exchange for supporting Secretary Clinton's campaign for the presidency, significant increases in financing from the State Department. They also had documents that showed the patronage of the State Department to State Department employees who would go and support Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. There were high-level DNC emails that detailed evidence of Hillary's, quote, psycho-emotional problems, uncontrolled fits of anger, aggression, and cheerfulness, and that then Secretary Clinton was allegedly on a daily regimen of heavy tranquilizers.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Brad, at this point, I'm tired of being teased. It's time for the administration to put up or shut up. If lawfare against the Democratic Party is retribution for Donald Trump's troubles is where the direction that we want to go, that's fine, but actually do something about it. Stop teasing me.
Yes.
I'm tired of the tease.
Do you ever feel like you're just being played?
I feel like we're being distracted from potentially deeper issues because around the time that they made these drops, shall we say, was also when the increased scrutiny and focus on the Epstein files started to pile up after Donald Trump said that it was all a fraud and a hoax that was perpetrated by Barack Obama and Joe Biden.
You know, I long for the Bill Clinton years where anytime he had a scandal, he would just drop a few bombs on people, and he did that to distract attention or take attention away from whatever his scandal of the day was. Now, this is completely different. I mean, it's just like the Russia stuff. I mean, for how many years did we hear about Russia interference in the 2016 election, and now it's like, oh, no, that was just invented.
I wish I could go back in time and explain to my 16-year-old self that there would come a day where you would miss the sober, stable, well-measured leadership of George Bush. But yeah, that was also around the time that Tulsi Gabbard said, and this is why I say the administration needs to put up or shut up, because I'm tired of the distraction, that they were referring Barack Obama to the DOJ.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
the
President
evidence,
Obama?
correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
If anybody believes this at this point, Brad, I've got a bridge to sell you. Because we've been here before. We've been here before.
Yes, so they're referring all these documents to the DOJ, but is anybody going to follow up on it? I mean, Ethan, we should start a pool right now. We could get Kevin in there. We'll each kick in $5, and we'll say between the August 15th and November 1st, will we ever hear about this again?
This is kind of like the Biden administration and, of course, the Democrats now saying that they should release the Epstein files when the Democrats were sitting on this for 4 years under the last administration. All these documents that President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard are referring to, they sat on those for 4 years in the first administration. If they were going to do anything about it, they would have done something about it. They wouldn't have waited until the second term. That was under no circumstance guaranteed. This doesn't make a lick of sense unless you factor it in as a distraction from something potentially much more damning, which might be the Epstein files.
Right, exactly. For years, we heard about the files. They teased the files in the spring.
Donald Trump teased the files.
Now there's no files. What?
And yet they simultaneously voted not to release the files that don't exist. What?
Do they think that nobody is paying any attention?
Well, apparently they don't, because they're also teasing the potential incentive of more STEMI checks. Remember the STEMI checks that Trump sent out during COVID-19? Well, now
they're going to bribe us again?
Yes, they're rebranding them. This time it would be called the tariff rebate checks, and families up to $2,500 being released by the Trump administration. This according to the Donald.
Do you think there's the possibility of a rebate to the American public in terms of all of that money?
We're thinking about that, actually. We have so much money coming in. We're thinking about a little rebate, but the big thing we want to do is pay down debt. But we're thinking about a rebate. That's a very good question.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Have we forgotten the terrible economic consequences that took place from the stimulus checks the first time? Do we want runaway inflation to come around again?
Can we agree to just call this stimulus 2.0?
Yes. It's a bribe. It is a bribe to distraction.
Yes. So, yes, everybody's going, well, maybe. In theory, everybody's going to get a check, and yes, they're
it hasn't been approved yet. It's just an idea that the administration is toying around. But in the soundbite, he identified what they ought to be doing with the money, which is paying down the debt and not sending it back to the American people, where it will then exacerbate the inflationary pressures that we've already been battling for the last 5 years as a result of that decision.
Well, and as Rob says in the teasers for this show all the time, he's like, we don't have any money. All we're going to do is just print more money.
Anytime you're right. Anytime a check like that it comes to you, it's not money that we have. It's just money from the infinite printing machine of the Federal Reserve, and it will not end well. We've been here before.
Right.
Let's
Why
learn
don't they
some
say,
lessons.
oh, we have less debt than we thought we were going to incur. The economy's doing so well. If you start the conversation with that it never should end with we're going to send out rebate checks or stimulus 2.0.
Absolutely. We need to pay down the debt. It'd be the first time in 30 years since the 1990s that happened.
Come on, Ethan. That's just crazy talk.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC, Kendall and Casey show. Ethan and Brad filling in. Up next, lots of things going on in the WNBA. It's been quite an eventful week. We'll touch on some of those incidents coming up next.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
What if one day could change the trajectory of your life? A sharpening of character, a challenge to grow deeper, stand stronger, and lead better in faith, family, and purpose. At the Life Church Men's Event on Saturday, August 2nd, you'll hear raw truth from men who've been through the fire. You'll worship, connect, and leave with more than inspiration. You'll leave with a battle plan. Show up, lean in, let God do the rest. Register at lifechurchin.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use, now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
I'm a grandson, a son. I'm an employee and a mentor. I'm a father to 2 beautiful kids and a husband to an amazing wife. And I have a substance use disorder. In other words, I'm living in recovery with an addiction. And now that you know, will you let it change how you see me? It's okay to see my addiction, but I want you to know it's people choosing to see me as a person that changed my life.
See the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indie Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndieDecorativeConcrete.com.
I'm not content to be with you in the daytime.
93 WIBC, this is the Kendall and Casey show. My name is Ethan Hatcher. Sitting across from me is Brad Klopfenstein. And, of course, we got the talented producer Kevin on the board. This segment wanted to talk about the WNBA, which has found itself at the center of attention. Lots of publication, of course, and attention focused on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, which we love to have in our city. But as the NBA or WNBA is struggling to be taken more seriously at every turn, it seems these women are sabotaging themselves. What say you, Brad?
I think women do that just out in the wild.
Hey-oh, that's a hot take there.
Am I shocked by this? Not None whatsoever.
The most recent embarrassment was a WNBA game where a wardrobe malfunction, by which I mean one of the players' wigs came off in the middle of the game.
That is not the typical wardrobe malfunction that people think of.
No, and they stopped play, Brad, to let this woman fix her hair.
And it bounced around a lot, but at the end, it went through the rim. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. She's going to go ahead to the back. Oh, no.
Timeout called for Copper to deal with the malfunction.
And this was not a small wig, Bragg. This was a sizable hairpiece. I believe it was like a full dreadlock ponytail. And of course that's going to fall out in the middle of an athletic event. That's not suitable athletic attire. Who let this woman go onto the court like that?
I wondered the same thing. It's like, all right, this is not enhancing your performance. I would think the coach would say, yeah, no, that's not going to work, because that, yeah, all you need to do is just get in a tie-up with some other player. This is going to happen. The fact that this is the first time it happened is probably the most shocking part of this.
And then, Brad, they ejected a player, or not a player, I should say, a member of the audience.
Right, a fan.
A
paying fan at that.
Exactly. For patronizing them and then mocking the malfunction, which I feel anyone would do.
And now they have an issue with a fan. As the officials, as Phoenix's bench had an issue, they're having Alyssa Thomas and Nate Tibbetts point out which fan it is so that security here at Care First Arena can have that dealt with. As we're waiting to get back to play here. So the officials are now talking to arena security here. As you can see,
Leave Brittany alone! Please!
So she wasn't cursing. She wasn't using foul language. She was just...
She was laughing, which actually, if they were really being true to this, they should have kicked out 2/3 of that arena. Because I know if I was there and you were there and Kevin was there, 2 of the 3 of us would have laughed.
These people aren't serious. They can't be serious when you are kicking out patrons of your game. I feel it's an implied right. And correct me if I'm wrong, because both of you guys know I am not a sportsketball fan. I do not attend these sportsketball games. However, if you are a paying ticket holder, you have the right to cheer. I feel you have also the implied right to jeer. Am I wrong? Am I off base?
I would think so.
What's that you, Kev?
I think that's fair.
Right.
Yes, you have the right to laugh. You have the right to boo. The next step on this is if you're booing the home team, then they have the right to throw you out. I think that that's absolutely wrong.
Now, what you don't have the right to do, and I do object to this kind of behavior, although it is still funny, during another WNBA game this week, a foreign object made its way onto the basketball court. Did you see this, Brad?
I did not. But I'm looking forward to hearing this.
It's worth a watch. Well, let's just roll the tape first.
Hayes gets blocked by Maya Caldwell. Something flies on the court, actually, from the crowd. The officials will say they will continue play as that goes off the fingertips of the Valkyries.
And you can see the object, the block right there. And the object comes, that green thing bounces and it goes to the sideline. We're not exactly we're not sure where it came from. No room for any of that type of activity. Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay.
Oh, that's terrible.
You seem kind of psyched.
No, I'm bummed. But I wasn't bummed. I was stoked.
So you heard the reaction of the announcer there as they panned the camera and showed on television what the green object was, which was a large green sex toy.
I believe they call those personal massagers.
Yes, but this was not a Hitachi.
Was this the same game?
I don't think so. I think this was a separate game.
Okay, so I have several thoughts on this matter. One, I didn't know they came in green. Two, those are expensive. Have you ever priced any?
No, I can't say that I have. It doesn't surprise me that it's green though, because they have Avengers themed toys of this nature. So
this is a Gen Con that's going on right now. Can we pick up one of those over at the convention center?
Possibly, but we're certainly not encouraging people to throw objects of any kind on the game. That is definitely inappropriate behavior. We can still laugh at it. I mean, it's funny as hell, but it's inappropriate. Don't do that.
I mean, I'm not an expert on this matter, but I think they start at like $75 and go up from there.
$75 for that
into the
thing?
hundreds. Wow. Yeah, I mean, at $75, we'll call it a drink stirrer. $75 is a low-end drink stirrer. And yes, they go into the hundreds.
So, I mean, right now it seems like the WNBA is absolutely struggling to be taken seriously, and in many cases it's these women who have sabotaged the opportunity that Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise has presented them. I'm sure you saw the All-Star game when these women ran out on the courts. Pay us what you owe us. Pay us what you owe us. Something to that effect. And of course, it was quickly pointed out that the WNBA loses more than $40 million for the NBA organization total.
Yes, it has totally been subsidized by the NBA up until now. And some of this is growing pains.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think you're always going to have haters, and especially when you've got players who have toiled in this league for years, making a pittance and having no attention. And then Caitlin Clark comes on the scene, and suddenly all the endorsement money is going her way. But, I mean, a rising tide raises all ships. That's my opinion of this. And you're right. People should not be going after her. I think it's funny that the Fever effectively had to sign an enforcer to go out and, a person who's going to throw some haymakers if anybody goes after Caitlin Clark. But you're right. They should just look at Caitlin Clark as the golden goose and don't be killing that.
Somebody who's a rising star in the sportsball world, the proprietor of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, actually weighed in on the WNBA payment scheme, and I think he had a surprising take not many people would expect.
I don't know how anybody in the world with a brain, and maybe my brain is just bigger than most, can rationally say the women don't deserve more money at this point. Caitlin Clark's rookie salary is $76,000. Nikki Smokes, Mincy make more than her. It's insane. And I know what people are going to say. Well, this league has lost money. It's a charity league. The NBA subsidizes it, blah, blah, blah. This could have been true for the last 10 years or so. Fair argument. It's not true now. The WNBA is exploding by every single metric you look at. TV ratings, merch, revenue, ticket sales, you name it.
And at the top of the second half, it's 16-9. Easton leads the scoring with 4.
And that's why she commands $7,000 a year. These gals sure do make it look difficult.
But is having this minor skill worth being so unattractive? That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! I can't really say that I saw that take coming from Dave Portnoy, of all people.
No. I mean, in my theory, you are worth whatever your employer thinks you're worth based on the value that you generate.
Well, you're worth whatever you can negotiate.
Well,
and
that's true.
If these girls can negotiate a better contract, then good for them, But also, I feel like those contractual negotiations are absolutely based on the performance and revenue that's being generated by the team overall. And if the revenue being generated doesn't cover the cost of operating, then you're not in a strong place of negotiation, even if this flash in the pan is temporarily creating the perfect firestorm of profitability.
Yes, Ethan, I think that you are worth $250,000 a year for what you do here for WIBC.
Well, I appreciate that. And, let's see if I can negotiate that.
Okay, let me go march down the hallway during our next break, and I'll see if I can negotiate that for you. By the way, I get 50%.
Yeah, if I burst into David Woods, audience program director here at WIBC, and said, "Pay me what you owe me," I don't think that would go over too well.
I would say, I owe you nothing.
I would be shown the door. Please don't fire me, David Wood. Thank you for letting me come in and fill in today on the Kendall and Casey Show with Brad. I really appreciate the opportunity. Please. I'll take whatever you pay me. I'm fine. I'm not complaining.
I'm with you. I'm just happy to be sitting here.
Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Stay tuned. We got a lot more on the way. But coming up next, the WIBC News. Don't miss it.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All-American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Trying to have it both ways. We've got cloudy skies in the Circle City. It's currently 70 with a high of 74 today and a flood warning out until noon for Indianapolis and surrounding areas. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 10:30. New York's Democratic candidate for mayor says he does support police despite past social media posts to the contrary.
Zoran Mamdani said despite what others have said, his vision is not to defund the police, but to let them fight the serious crime they signed up to address.
We ask them to focus on those crimes, and we ask mental health professionals to respond to calls of mental health crises.
He had tweeted after the police murder of George Floyd 5 years ago that the police should be defunded, even that police are a threat to public safety. He said to try to blame poor officer retention on attitudes like defunding the police now is wrong.
When you ask officers why they leave, one of the leading causes they cite is forced overtime.
He said focusing on his past tweets is just part of an effort to score political points rather than an effort to make New Yorkers safe.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The Federal Open Markets Committee meeting Wednesday amid calls from President Trump to lower interest rates by as much as 3 points. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell tells reporters that keeping rates steady is an appropriate response given the current economic conditions.
Inflation's a bit above target. Maximum employment is at target. That calls for modestly restrictive, in my way of thinking, modestly restrictive stance of policy for now.
Powell also cited the impact of tariffs and their effects on the cost of consumer goods. 2 members of the Fed's Board of Governors voted to reduce rates, while 9 others, including Powell, voted in favor of keeping them the same. The Trump administration rolling out a new health tracking system with the help of tech companies like Google and Amazon. It's designed to help people manage chronic health conditions like diabetes and obesity by using tools like conversational AI. Supporters of the program say it could improve access to health records, while others are raising privacy concerns over sharing data. And a New Mexico judge is dismissing Alec Baldwin's civil lawsuit alleging malicious prosecution in the shooting death of cinematographer Helene Hutchins on the set of the film Rust. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You know, sometimes dealing with home service contractors can be frustrating, whether it's missed appointments, sloppy workmanship, or just a general sense of indifference about helping you. Frustrating hardly describes that experience, Hammer.
And that's why we want to welcome a new advertiser to the Hammer and Nigel family, somebody you're going to be hearing quite a bit about in the coming months, Victor's Home Solutions.
Victor's installs the highest quality roofs available for your home, and they take all those negative stereotypes and turn them on their head.
They start with the basics, prompt, follow-up, showing up to appointments on time. And then they go above and beyond with installation teams that are so skilled, so precise, that Victor's is able to offer a 50-year leak-free guarantee on every roof they install.
5-star customer service and perfect installation. You're going to be really impressed with Victor's. They're the only roofer Hammer and I recommend to our listeners. It all starts with a free 21-point roof inspection. Call 1-866-VICTORS or victors.com.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and KC Show with Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in. And the latest ad craze to sweep the nation is the American Eagle campaign headed up by Sydney Sweeney. Their stocks have risen by, I think, more than 25% as a result of this. Not their stock. They've been selling out of their jeans in these retail outletters. Which is a pretty noteworthy accomplishment when the retail industry is dying and malls across America are closing their doors. But now American Eagle has figured out how to get the consumers back through the door, and that is, of course, by putting pretty women in the ad campaign. Are we shocked by this, Brad?
No, I sold beer back in the 90s, man. That's how everybody sold beer.
That's how marketing works. That's how Hardee's sold burgers for a long time.
When Coors first came to the state of Indiana, they would have a billboard, and it had some girl, and I think a hot girl, and she was laid back. I think she was wearing a one piece, but she was very well put together.
Sure.
And it just said Coors Light.
So that's all you got to do to sell beer.
Yeah. And they sold a lot of beer.
But even though this is a marketing strategy that goes back to basically when marketing began, in the liberal world of 2025, they have now conflated these two things with Nazism. And I am not exaggerating. This, according to Good Morning America, where putting a pretty buxom, blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman on an ad campaign is just like Nazi Germany.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with the backlash over a new ad campaign featuring actress Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, the ads are for American Eagle, and the tagline is, Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Now, in one ad, the blonde-haired, blue-eyed actress talks about genes as in DNA being passed down from her parents.
The play on words is being compared to Nazi propaganda with racial undertones.
The pun, good genes, activates troubling historical associations for this country. The American eugenics movement in its prime between like 1900 and 1940 weaponized the idea of good genes just to justify white supremacism.
Despite that backlash, American Eagle stock has been soaring.
I'd buy that for $1.
So this is the dirty little secret, Brad. Never underestimate the fact that when liberals say they oppose Nazis, they're not talking about the Germans.
No.
They're talking about you. They're talking about, by virtue of your existence, you have guilt by association. You have committed the original sin based on the color of your skin, and yet we're supposed to be the racists here? No. They're the racists.
There is a small percentage of the population who seeks to be offended, and they will look for any opportunity to be offended. This is it.
Yeah, they've jumped the shark with this one, and I agree. They're looking for an excuse to be offended, and now they're calling for a boycott, which, good luck. They're already selling out of the jeans, and the stocks have risen by more than 20%.
Don't forget to boycott American Eagle for their racist online, talking about blue jeans and white people. Boycott American Eagle. Boycott the shit out of them. Boycott American Eagle. Do not buy them. And cancel this person, Miss Sweeney. Cancel for her being racist, for doing Nazi propaganda. Cancel American Eagle.
Mental illness is a political identity and always has been.
Frankly, what were you about to say?
Ethan, follow me on this.
Sure.
We're going to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole here. What are the chances that American Eagle creates this ad campaign, which on its own is a pretty good ad campaign, but then American Eagle also created the opposition so that people like me and you talk about it on the air and liberally say American Eagle and also defend American Eagle? Is there any chance that some of this opposition is a plant?
Sure. Outrage farming is a new phenomenon that's been part of the game since Nike started airing. Oh, what's that failed football player's name?
There's several.
For the San Francisco 49ers, the radical. See, I'm not a sports guy.
I would say Russell Wilson. I don't think
Colin
that's it.
Kaepernick?
Colin Kaepernick. That's right. The Take a Knee campaign. Outrage farming was a huge part of their campaign because a lot of people set their Nike shoes on fire in protest of that. And studies have shown that if you destroy a product you've purchased before, there's a high probability that you will purchase it again because you like the product.
Right.
So that's definitely part of the plan here. But frankly, I think it boils down to something far more simple. There are two reasons why the Sydney Sweeney ad campaign has performed as well as it did, and it's the left reason and the right reason.
Boobies? Chickless, Chablancas, Bazoomas. In my experience, people only go to these films to observe the undraped form of the native girls.
And this isn't a race thing because if you are black, if you are white, if you are Asian, it doesn't matter. Everyone from every race loves to see attractive women.
Yes, it's very visceral. Women will buy the jeans because they think that the jeans will make them look like Sydney Sweeney, and men will buy the jeans hoping that they get to date Sydney Sweeney.
It's simple psychology, and we're due in for another outrage mob here, Brad, because there is another company that is seeking to capitalize on the same kind of content and outrage the reaction like you were talking about earlier, except now this time it's Dunkin' Donuts, which, look, if you're going to be buying Dunkin' Donuts, you're probably not going to be fitting in the American Eagle jeans, but now they are taking their swing at it too.
Look, I didn't ask to be the king of summer. It just kind of happened. This tan, genetics. I just got my color analysis back. Guess what? Golden summer, literally. I can't help it. Every time I drink a Dunkin' Golden Hour refresher, it's like the sun just finds me. So if sipping these refreshers makes me the king of summer, guilty as charged. The Golden Hour refresher, only at Dunkin'.
I bet that thing has a ton of sugar in it. I mean, the young man that they used for that campaign, similarly well chiseled, for the male physique, and apparently that is going to outrage the mentally ill left wing portion of our population.
Ethan, it just occurred to me as we're sitting here talking.
Sure.
You and I are doing this all wrong. We are sitting here on the show. We should have brought our own protesters and had them be outside on the circle protesting Ethan and Brad filling in on WIBC, then put out a press release to all the other news media around town, and then have them come and interview the protesters, and suddenly Brad and Ethan are the hottest things in Indianapolis.
So we need to do some outrage farming of our own.
Oh, for sure.
I love that idea. It's sad that this is the discourse and discussion that is surrounding this ad campaign, because it's utterly unhinged. This is not even new or original. They've been making puns for jean ads going back to the 1980s. So
the Calvin Klein ads.
Yes.
Yep.
So if this was truly a racist dog whistle, then it's been going on for ages now, and apparently nobody noticed up for the last 40 years.
Well, that we're 2 generations removed from the 80s, so yes, maybe they just weren't around to see it then, but it happens.
Yeah.
So, yes, sex appeal sells, and it sells a lot of things, that's in particular jeans, and I guess beer. And so here we are. So that is just today's outrage, and American Eagle is selling a ton of jeans.
And good for them.
Yes. I wish I would have bought stock 2 weeks ago.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. This is Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in on the Kendall and Casey Show. More to come.
Hammer and Nigel Show, we got a lot of giveaways for you. Tickets to go see Kansas with Jefferson Starship. Tickets to go see Jason Aldean. Tickets to the Indiana State Fair. The biggest stories, the biggest laughs, 93 WIBC.
Christine said, I highly recommend this company. They did my garage floor and I absolutely love it. I'm planning on having them do my patio in the spring. Don't wait. Call them today, 317-751-9070. That's the number for Galaxy Concrete Coating. They can turn any concrete surface into a much better space. Find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or call them 317-751-9070.
When your car is more than just a car, you need more than just a garage. Expert-level automotive service, customization, and care is available for you at GR Brands Campus in Zionsville, home to Graham Rahal Performance and Rahal Paint Protection. From routine maintenance to custom tuning and parts, paint protection film, window tint, and ceramic coating to full-scale custom builds, GR Brands is your all-in-one destination. GR Brands also offers a curated selection of rare supercars when you're ready to elevate your collection. If your passion rests on two wheels, Rahal Power Sports on the GR Brands campus is for you. Featuring Ducati, Piaggio, Vespa, Aprilia, and Moto Guzzi. Whether you're a collector, a casual rider, or a monster on the track, you'll find the service, sales, and support every rider needs. The perfect ride for your lifestyle is waiting at Rahal Power Sports. Start riding or expand and enhance your two-wheel collection today. From the neighborhood to the track, Rahal Power Sports will help you do it with confidence and style. Make every drive and every ride extraordinary. Start now at GrahamRahal.com/GRBrands.
Neighborhoods are popping up everywhere, but if you want something different than what you're currently seeing, Joyner Homes, based out of Greenfield, can build you a unique, custom home on your own private lot or anywhere you can bring your own builder. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Visit Joyner Homes Model Homes or go to joynerhomes.com to see floor plans and pricing and more. With Joyner Homes, you can even start from scratch if you want. Check out their 5-star Google reviews and visit joynerhomes.com.
Mark your calendar for August 1st. George's Medical Equipment is celebrating their new retail space with an open house from 10 to 1. There will be a grill out starting at 11, free battery checks, and a chance to win a lift chair. Whether you're looking for medical supplies, mobility aids, or respiratory equipment, their team is ready to help. Located behind Planet Fitness at 7434 Shadeland Station. George's accepts Medicare, Medicaid, most third-party Advantage plans, and all waiver programs.
Two of the best summertime traditions are back. The Indiana State Fair and the Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. This year featuring the key lime pie milkshake and the smoked Gouda Q grilled cheese with Gouda cheddar barbecue sauce on Texas toast. The Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. Open 9 to 9 at the Indiana State Fair, across from the Coliseum. Brought to you by American Dairy Association Indiana, your Hoosier Dairy Farm families. Find out more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Honda of Fishers is now Great Lakes Honda of Fishers, under new ownership, just off State Road 37. Stop by for special grand opening prices during the summer sales event.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. My name's Ethan Hatcher. That's Brad Klopfenstein. Producer Kevin on the board. And keep that finger on the dump button because we've got special guest in the studio with us now. And you never know what flim, flying, florin' filth is going to come from Jason Hammer. Happy to have you here, sir.
Man, happy Thursday. Sounds like you guys are having a good time.
Absolutely.
Mr. Klopfenstein, how are things in Lawrence these days?
We are sailing right along, man. We got 3 mayors. It's fantastic.
3.
It's office space. I got 4 different bosses. You've got the Bobs up there.
We do.
Right?
What would you say you do here?
So who's technically the lead of that? Because there's always an alpha.
Mayor Deb Whitfield, she is the elected mayor, but then we've also got Jim Perrin. He had been the mayor of Elkhart, and we have Greg Goodnight. He'd been the mayor of Kokomo.
Okay.
And they both work there now, which Goodnight now lives in Fishers, and Jim Perrin is a Lawrence resident. So, yes, we're relying on their expertise and their 5 terms between them, I think.
3 mayors. You can never have too much administration or bureaucracy. It's a great thing.
Right. The more government, the better. That means you can help more people, right? Isn't that how it's supposed to work? Yeah. Hey, this afternoon we are loaded up on our show. Promotions department has given us, I think the exact term is a buttload of tickets. Buttload. So we've got tickets to go see Jason Aldean. We're going to play a little game this afternoon. It's a trivia game. Jason Hammer or Jason Aldean. We're going to give you a fact about someone. It will either be a fact about yours truly or Jason Aldean. You get 2 out of 3. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to send you to the show.
I love these games that you come up with. They're always great.
Thank you.
Now, I've known you for a long time. I think I could ace this one.
You should. We try to make these as easy as possible. So we want to give away the prize.
No, you got to go the other direction, man.
No, because then I have to have another contest later on.
Oh, okay.
I've got to give the tickets away, right? I want to be fun. I want the reward to go to our listeners. I think only twice in the 8 years that we've been doing Afternoon Drive has somebody not won one of these games. We did Sing Along with Hammer once, and the songs are always super easy, popular songs everybody knows. There was somebody that didn't know any of them. And then we had somebody that failed the trivia contest once, and that's it. So we try to make it as easy as we can. Also, we're giving away tickets to see Kansas with Jefferson Starship. So that is a show coming up downtown at Everwise. We got tickets for that.
How old are those guys?
They're up there a little bit, man, but they still put on a great show.
They've been taking that one pill that makes you larger and then the other one that makes you small and then the other pill that your mother gives you and doesn't do anything at all.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
And 5 pair of tickets to go see the Indiana State Fair, because tomorrow Big Nige and I are doing one of our favorite shows of the year, the annual Indiana State Fair show. It is open for business starting tomorrow, and we're going to be set up in the tap room, the beer room. Klopp, that's a place close to your heart.
I love it. So do you set yourself up on like a beer clock where you can only have a certain number of beers over a certain period of time? So let's see, you've got
Have you heard our show?
I know. Well, you've got a 4 hour.
Does it sound like in any way we limit ourselves?
No, actually, you're right. It's a 4-hour show, and you got a pregame leading up to it. So I'm putting your over-under at 12.
And it's Indiana beers set up in there. And then at 4 o'clock, we are scheduled to have the annual deep-fried Oreo eating contest. I'm defending my title against listener Mariachi Bob. Listener Mariachi Bob from the Hammer and Nigel show wanted some of the action. He wanted some of the heat. So we said, all right, kid, step up to the plate here. So if he shows up, we gave him tickets. It's up to him to show up. 4:06 at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, the deep fried Oreo eating contest tomorrow.
I've got questions. How does this man get the name Mariachi Bob?
I don't know. And here's the problem. I don't want to ask because I feel like he gave himself the nickname. If you give yourself the nickname,
it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
No.
Like if I say I'm Big Girthy Hammer, nobody's going to call me that. Nobody's going to call me that. They're just going to call me fat ass. So you can't give yourself a nickname. Now, if somebody gave it to him, fine. But he has identified himself to us as Mariachi Bob. I don't think Michael Jordan goes up to people and says, hi, I'm Air. I don't think Charles Barkley goes up to people, hi, I'm the round mound of rebound. That doesn't work like that.
I think the Oreo eating contest is the perfect symbol of the Indiana State Fair. I love the food of the Indiana State Fair. It is the crown jewel of the Hoosier summer.
It is.
Every year, and the stuff they're coming out this year is fantastic. I want to try that blue cotton candy margarita that they're debuting. I think that sounds fantastic.
Wilson Brimley just rolled over in his grave. He said diabetes 3 times in a row and rolled over.
Look, I don't care who hears this. Blue is the best artificial flavor because it doesn't taste like anything. When you have like cherry
Orange
or watermelon,
is the new black and blue is the new flavor.
Grape, you're always comparing it to the real thing, and it never lives up to what it's supposed to taste like. But blue doesn't taste like anything at all, so it's the perfect artificial flavor. It just tastes like itself.
Last week I was up in the region and stopped by the Albany's Candy Factory outlet, and they have bags of things that aren't quite perfect. And they had a 10-pound bag of just blue gummies.
It just says it in blue.
This is blue. They were supposed to be sharks. They mostly look like manhole covers and things. So.
Like Cousin Eddie going to the buffet in Las Vegas. I'll have some of the yellow. Like Klopp goes up to the candy store. I'll have some of the blue. So, man, it's a big weekend. And we got the Indiana State Fair kicking off tomorrow. And, again, thank you to Wilson Farm Market. They're our presenting sponsor for our big broadcast tomorrow. You can't have the fair without corn. And those folks, they're like the corn people. So they're going to join us for a little bit tomorrow. We're going to have some beers, have a good time. And I believe Gen Con is open now?
It is. Yes. It started today or yesterday.
I was driving in downtown, and I saw people walking all over the place, and the big sign is up on the convention center.
You can always tell when Gen Con comes to town because there's a bunch of fat jokers walking around the city.
It is great people watching to just sit outside on a patio at one of the downtown establishments and just watch people go by.
Well, some of the costumes that they come up with are actually legitimately impressive and very elaborate. I mean, those cosplayers take it incredibly seriously.
And listen, man, these people come to town, they spend money, they hang out. And last time I checked, maybe I'm wrong, I don't ever remember a broken window caused by the Gen Con convention people. I don't remember any fights breaking out or any problems happening late at night in Indy because Gen Con was in town.
It's funny. I've got a female friend, kind of hot, good looking, and she's like, yeah, Gen Con comes to town, and I'm like, 80% of them are men. I bet I could go downtown and I can get hit on all the time. She's like, I go into the bars. It is the weirdest thing. Nobody wants to make eye contact.
They want to. They just might not be very good at it.
Well, okay,
nerds are docile.
I think that's absolutely right. So, yes. So, ladies, if you come downtown, it's a happy hunting ground, but you have to be the aggressor.
Right. You've got to take the lead on this. Get outside of your comfort zone. And I'm telling you, these people will treat you like $1 million. The good folks, man. Now, in the past, I've had a little issue with the Gen Con leadership, right? Remember when there was the abortion debate in Indiana and Gen Con was trying to play the heavy, well, maybe we'll take our convention elsewhere. And some of the folks that visit Indy were texting me, freaking out all the time.
They threatened to boycott the city, but this is their bread and butter. They make literally millions of dollars here every year, and I don't think that they could export this to another Midwestern town. You're not doing this in Chicago. You're not doing this in Vegas.
It's not going to Louisville.
Convention city, right, it's not going to Louisville. The convention city is Indianapolis.
Right.
We have set ourselves up for this.
And what I was telling the Visit Indy guy was, you guys are so good at what you do. Look at your incompetent mayor. Look at the crime issues we have, and yet we are the convention city. That's on you guys. Nobody's going to provide them with something better than what you have to offer in a city that's all connected. So just pump the brakes a little bit, take a deep breath, relax, let them huff and puff, and they're going to come back like they always do.
Right. Now we have that big 35-story hotel that'll be ready, I think, this time next year.
Paid for by the city.
Government-funded hotel's going to be done at the end of the year. Meanwhile, the monument out here, it's still sitting there. There's nobody ever working on that
thing. You think they're waiting on this station to move up the street?
I don't know. Nige and I come in here every day at 3 o'clock, and because I like to have the blinds open, right? That's why I have such a bad look on the YouTube camera, but I love to look out at the circle. There's never anybody working on it. Now, some days it's hot, some days it's cold, I get it. But other times it's beautiful, sunny, 80-degree day. Nobody's ever there. Meanwhile, government-funded hotel, hot damn, they're going to have that thing ready by the end of the year, man.
They are hand-chiseling the limestone out of the quarry to bring it here.
One more thing on Gen Con here. Great moments in Gen Con history. A number of years ago, this is shortly after the Michael Brown incident in Ferguson, when the media was pushing that lie of hands up, don't shoot, which never happened, but the media force-fed that to everyone. So when Gen Con came here, there was a big protest on the circle. It was a Michael Brown protest. And like in the most poignant moment, hands up, don't shoot, people were all chanting. There was a dude in a full Chewbacca suit that comes walking by with a gift bag, like just in town, not having any idea that there was a protest scheduled on the circle. Like the most serious moment, hands up! Here comes Chewie just walking right by.
Fortunately, now we have body cam footage from a lot of these incidents that exonerate the police officers. That was the best thing that the liberals ever asked for, was body cam footage.
Bingo.
And you can watch it on endless stream on YouTube. Don't fall down that rabbit hole.
Hey, this afternoon, starting at 3:06, it's Prize-a-Palooza today. We're going to have Rob Kendall off the rails, and we're going to have a good time.
Thanks for coming in, Jason. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC, Kendall and Casey Show.
At Puccini's, we think less screen time and more quality mealtime is the better way. Eat, talk, and dine with less blue light glaring or talking heads blaring while enjoying great food at a reasonable price is the Puccini's way. Dine in for hot, delicious food prepared fresh and to your liking. If you need anything, we're right there so you'll leave full and happy. We have delivery options and carryout, but let's start dining in together again the way we all used to enjoy so much.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to consolidate and reduce their debt, in some cases for a fraction of what they owe. If your credit card balances are more than $10,000, call us and learn how to reduce your credit card bills and monthly payments now. Here's our number.
Paid for by Debt.com. Call now at 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. 800-810-1820. That's 800-810-1820.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indie Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndieDecorativeConcrete.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, the hot and humid weather is gone for now. We'll look at the forecast for today and into the weekend. What happened during a drug raid in northern Indiana? You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Continuing to look back at the 2016 election. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The FBI has declassified new documents from the investigation by Special Counsel John Durham into what President Trump calls a Russia hoax. The FBI-led probe into allegations that his campaign had colluded with Russia. Republican Senator Chuck Grassley just told Fox.
We need maximum transparency on all the schemes that were going on 10 years ago to either stop Trump from being elected or after he was elected to ruin his presidency.
The director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, recently released documents she claims shows then President Obama and his administration altered the narrative about Russian election interference. The former president calls that outrageous, bizarre, and ridiculous. A lot of New York City police officers are in the Bronx now, paying last respects to Diderol Islam, who was murdered with 3 others in Monday's Manhattan office building shooting spree. Fox's Alexis McAdams is at the mosque where funeral services are being held.
His wife, about 8 months pregnant, and he leaves 2 young sons behind. State and city leaders are going to come and pay their respects, including Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani. The self-proclaimed socialist met with Officer Islam's family last night.
Mamdani's faced a lot of criticism over social media posts dating back to 2020, critical of New York City police wanting to dismantle the department, but the Democratic nominee for mayor insists now.
I am not defunding the police. I am not running to defund the police.
We got this update to the economy this morning. Fox's Jenny Casola details it.
Inflation numbers are slightly worse than anticipated for June. The PCE price index rose 0.3%, up 2.6% for the year ending in June.
That is higher annual inflation than in May. The Federal Reserve Chairman cited concern about tariffs leading to more inflation when leaving interest rates unchanged yesterday, angering President Trump, who posted on Truth Social this morning, Jerome Powell is too stupid and a total loser. On Wall Street, the NASDAQ and S&P 500 hit all-time highs. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A change in the weather. It's cloudy and 70 on Monument Circle. The high today just 73 now. I'm Sherrod Lewis. It's 11:02. The hot, humid days early this week will give way to some more comfortable weather coming up.
Across the Indianapolis area, we're starting the day in the low 70s, and we're really not expecting to get any higher than that as we go through the day. You get along the Ohio River, it will still be a little warm today. We're expecting temperatures in the 80s.
National Weather Service forecaster Andrew White says no rain expected until next week. This morning's rain brought a few inches to some spots in just a couple of hours. 5 people are recovering from injuries they sustained in a southern Indiana house explosion. The Jeffersonville Fire Department put out a fire at the home after it exploded late last night. 2 of the people from that house had to be airlifted to a local hospital. The others transported via ambulance. The severity of their injuries unknown this hour. It's also unknown what caused the explosion. That's what crews are looking into this morning. Indiana State Police say a drug raid on the southeast side of South Bend ended in a gunfight, and one man dead. Officers found Justin Huffkins inside after hearing a gunshot.
We have crime scene investigators on scene as well, so they have a busy job ahead of them.
State Police Sergeant Ted Bonner speaking with WNDU-TV. He says this happened in a neighborhood just south of IU South Bend's campus. Nick Roberts, a Democratic City County Councilor, can now focus on moving on.
Of course, as well, I'll be continuing my work in the city and serving our council district as we enter the budget season. Thank you all so much for the support over the last 24 hours. Again, it means the world.
A lady accused Roberts of groping her on a date and filed a police report back in July. The Fishers Police Department confirmed that they will not be investigating the accusations any further. That was Roberts in a video posted to social media. 3 wins in a row now for the Indiana Fever. Ari McDonald put up 27 points to lead them to a 107-101 victory over the Phoenix Mercury last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Head coach Stephanie White on what was working well for the team Wednesday night.
Yeah, I think our movement with and without the basketball, I don't know, probably single-digit number of times where the ball stuck or we didn't move it. But for the most part, the ball was really moving and popping, and we were taking care of it after that first quarter a lot better, too, and that's important.
Indiana hits the road to face Dallas tomorrow night. And the home of late Colts owner Jim Irsay has been listed for $12 million. The Carmel Mansion, nearly 26,000 square feet, has 6 bedrooms and 12 bathrooms, and sits on 9.5 acres of property that border Crooked Stick Golf Club. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's Terry Stacy. How many of you started the year with good intentions of losing weight and getting in shape by spring? Well, if you didn't hit that goal, Exercise Inc. can help. Exercise Inc. has been helping people get stronger, build muscle, lose weight, and transform their health for over 20 years. The program works, and guess what? It only takes 20 minutes a week. Their unique training method was developed in an osteoporosis research study to help prevent bone mineral loss in older women. The women in the study ended up getting very strong in a short amount of time. When the method was applied to normal, healthy adults, both men and women got a lot stronger. Their Simple 9 nutritional program has helped their clients lose over 37,000 pounds since 2013, and they've seen clients lower their blood pressure, improve their blood sugar, and get off prescription meds. Their coaches are professional. Their gyms are private. Get started now before summer gets here. Locations in Avon, Brownsburg, Fishers, Greenwood, and Zionsville. Change your life in 20 minutes a week. Go to exerciseinc.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the Kendall and Casey Show, Hour 3 of the program. If you've missed a moment, you can catch the podcast uploaded to WIBC.com under the Kendall and Casey Show page. This is not Rob Kendall, nor is it Casey Daniels. My name is Ethan Hatcher. Sitting across from me is the esteemed Brad Klopfenstein. Together, we're filling in, and of course, producer Kev is on the board. Brad, earlier in the show, we touched against the scandal that will not die in the Trump administration, and part of the reason is because Donald Trump himself continues to keep it alive with incredibly unwise statements. I'm referring to the Epstein files and the Epstein case more broadly. The latest drop this week on Tuesday, according to the president himself, the genesis between the falling out between himself and Jeffrey Epstein was caused by Epstein poaching employees, potentially young girls, from Mar-a-Lago, and this was reported by Fox.
Epstein has a certain reputation, obviously. I'm just curious, were some of the workers that were taken from you, were some of them young women?
Were some of them
young women?
Well, I don't want to say, but everyone knows the people that were taken, and it was the concept of taking people that work for me is bad, but that story's been pretty well out there. And the answer is yes, they were.
Yes, they were young women?
In the spa.
In the spa?
Yeah, people that work in the spa. I have a great spa, one of the best spas in the world in Mar-a-Lago. And people were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine, and then not too long after that, he did it again, and I said, out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons, that include Virginia Jeffrey?
so. I think that was one of the people. He stole her. And by the way, she had no complaints about us, as you know. None whatsoever.
Yes, I was on the sex island, but only for the snorkeling. I didn't know anything about the kid stuff. No, look, 95% of what went on down there was not pedophilia.
Oh, yeah?
No, the other 5%, that sullied the whole operation.
Yeah, it sure did.
So we now appear to have more ties between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, and he actually walked himself out of denial and into admission in the course of about 20 seconds there, saying that, you know, was Virginia Giuffre one of the individuals that was scalped by Jeffrey Epstein off the Mar-a-Lago? No. Well, maybe. Actually, yeah, I think you're right. She was one of them. And she never had any complaints about us.
But he stole her. Like she was property. So, Ethan, just so I've got this right. So, Jeffrey Epstein and Giselle Maxwell, they get arrested. And then Jeffrey Epstein ends up dead in jail. And allegedly there are Epstein files, and lots of people have been beating the drum of release the files. And Trump was even at one time one of the people saying, release the files. And he gets elected. He says, we're going to release the files. Then they released teaser files to certain influencers.
And then now it's a hoax.
And now all of a sudden there were never any files and there are never any names. However, I know that Bill Clinton was there, 24 or 28 times. Like, well, how would you know that if there were no files, sir? And then it was Trump saying, well, I didn't really know Jeffrey Epstein. Well, I mean, I hung around with him a few times, but he invited me to the island, but I never went. And he was stealing my employees. And it's like, what? And again, how does somebody steal your employee? I mean, they can recruit them, but stealing is a very weird word.
Yeah, it's a very possessive term.
It is a possessive term.
Yeah, and the number of connections between these two individuals is troubling, I would say, especially when you have now Donald Trump being incredibly reluctant to disclose the Epstein files and attempts to be burying under, by any means possible this story, attempting to distract, threatening to indict Barack Obama, indict Hillary Clinton, give out $2,500 rebate checks to the American people, and then he keeps making these curious remarks about past association between himself, Jeffrey Epstein, and employees who came out of Mar-a-Lago, speculatively, who probably did not fare well under association with Jeffrey Epstein afterwards.
So now, Ethan, I know that this is probably just a crazy notion, and this could not possibly be true, but is it possible that maybe there were a lot of key Democrats that were on the list that they knew about when they're like, we're going to release the list, and then all of a sudden they see the list and like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of people in our circle, maybe even the big guy that's on the list, and now the list doesn't exist. That is very conspiratorial, I know, but is it possible?
I think it's possible, and I think the conclusion is entirely reasonable based on the reaction from both sides of the aisle. And of course, you've got Democrats who are attempting to drum up sympathy and, say that the files should be released, but then they're holding votes against releasing the files, just like the Republicans. So I think both parties have dirty hands here.
Yes. Well, and I know Giselle Maxwell, they want her to testify, and she is holding out for like a sweetheart deal where she gets nothing. I would almost say give it to her. I want to hear what she has to say.
Of course, it's also entirely possible that she could be suicided just like Jeffrey Epstein.
She needs to put out one of those statements that says, I am not suicidal.
Here's some curious testimony that was recently re-released to the public, dating back to March of 2010, when Jeffrey Epstein was under a civil lawsuit and attempting to defend himself from these accusations. And during the deposition, Donald Trump was brought up.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
Curiouser and curiouser.
what is a reasonable person supposed to conclude when they hear statements like that? And of course, he didn't provide any clarity. He asserted his Fifth Amendment right, but that leaves the mind to wonder exactly what level of association he had and what context of behavior was going on when we know the incredibly seedy, shady things that were happening on Pedophile Island.
Ethan, we're not supposed to...
We're not supposed to ask these questions?
We're not supposed to ask these questions or come up with any conclusions of our own. You're supposed to take what they tell you as strict fact and not venture off in any other direction.
And I don't care which party participated in potentially pedophilic acts. It's not a partisan issue.
No, it is about the victims.
The victims need prioritized most of all, especially because this appears to be the largest sex trafficking scandal to ever unfold in American history. And the idea that the door can be closed and the books be shut without any resolution is frankly unacceptable.
I would agree. I don't know. I just find it fascinating that there's not more people and more news outlets that are hammering this, saying, wait a second, this does not add up. How can you say that we've got files, and now we don't have files?
That's a good question, Brad. And there's so many questions that are surrounding this. It would seem to imply a large network, preponderance of individuals who are participating in this gross activity that now find themselves under pressure and have motivation to keep all this information hidden. I mean, we don't know because there's no transparency surrounding this, and that's the most troubling aspect.
Right, exactly. And now they've backed themselves into a corner where they're trying to prove a negative. If there were no files, that's great, but you've been saying for so long that there's files that you're going to release that now, in everybody's minds, these files exist.
And Donald Trump is the one who stirred the fire, fanned the flames, and demanded accountability, and he should have to live up to that expectation.
So, yes, most people would say that he's backed himself into a corner, although it's Donald Trump, and he seems to manage to get out from these situations.
Well, Teflon Don, it seems like this one might actually stick. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Of course, we're going to continue to cover the Epstein case as more information comes available. But in the meantime, coming up next, we have a special guest and friend of the show, Abdul Hakim Shabazz. He's coming on to discuss the plausibility or possibility of this astronomer CEO who is now threatening to sue Coldplay for publishing his image and disclosing the affair between himself and the HR staffer. Whether or not that comes to fruition, who knows, but we'll get Abdul's legal insights coming up next. Stay tuned.
Hammer and Nigel.
Now, the idea of Uber goes against everything we were taught as kids, though.
What's that?
Never get into a car with a stranger.
But there's vetting.
Now we pay for it. We're literally paying the stranger to take us somewhere.
But at least there's some sort of vetting. You know the name of the person that's coming.
So you'll know your kidnapper. It's like having an alarm on your car. Great, I can hear it being stolen.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln and Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
Hey folks, Scott Wilson here from Wilson Farm Market, just 20 minutes north of Carmel. We're proud to bring you the freshest produce farmed right here in Indiana and across the Midwest. And don't miss our home-style fried chicken, scratch-made bakery, and a deli packed with ready-to-go favorites. Got a sweet tooth? Check out a variety of old-fashioned candies, the kind that brings back sweet memories from your childhood. At Wilson Farm Market, we're all about local freshness, friendly faces, and food that feels like home. Wilson Farm Market. That's Wilson Farm Market.
Hey, it's Mike Rowe, and if you want to do business with a company that actually stands for something, switch to Pure Talk. I did. Sure, I appreciate being on America's most dependable 5G network with unlimited talk and text for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is Pure Talk's commitment to our military and to our skilled workforce. That matters to me. Save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro.
Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
At Advent, nasal congestion and sinus infections can be solved with an in-office 20-minute procedure. Elsewhere, expect surgery.
She comes around just about 5 feet 4 from her head to the ground.
93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in, joined in the studio by friend of the show and all-around good guy, Abdul Hakim Shabazz. Welcome, my friend.
There I was just working on legal stuff.
There we go. Mike's working now.
There we go. So there I was working on some legal stuff. Like, what? Huh? What? Excuse me? What? I'm trying to sue people. What's going on here?
Yeah, I figured a gentleman like yourself knows a thing or two about defamation, and apparently this, according to reports, because official filings have not come forth yet, the Astronomer CEO is contemplating suing Coldplay for publishing.
Andy Byron guy?
Yeah, Andy Byron guy.
Yeah, I looked up his horoscope today. Here's what it says. Visibility is high. Unfortunately, so is the resolution. You're likely to find yourself on camera, on blast, on an administrative leave. Saturn warns when your kiss hits the cam, don't let your lawyer hit send.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong. Me, as a legal layman, I would think that anytime I venture out into public, especially a very large concert like Coldplay, I have zero expectation of privacy.
You are correct, sir. Give that man a cigar.
All right, here we go. Here we go. I, too, could be a lawyer.
Well, not only is the expectation of privacy nil because that's implied when you go to a public location, it's also explicitly printed on the tickets.
Yep. It says you may appear on camera and it may go viral, so deal with it.
Yeah. So, you do not have the freedom from the Jumbotron if you're going to attend one of these large events. And if you don't want your image published for whatever reason, then maybe you should just avoid it. The funny thing is that I keep circling back to is they could have avoided this whole thing if they just acted normal, because nobody would have given a damn.
No, nobody would have recognized him.
No.
Nothing would have happened.
Well, like, even if you're an employee.
And by the way, here are a couple of things to think about too in all this. It wasn't done as fact. It wasn't saying they're having an affair or just shy. It was just
speculation.
A joke. It was just a joke. And number two, truth shall always be defense against libel. So if they're not having an affair, then he's got to go to court to show he's not having an affair.
Yeah, discovery could be pretty damaging.
Two
yeah.
So we're going to talk about the other 10 minutes while we're here.
Yeah. Well, and even more fascinating in this case, didn't Astronomer hire Chris Martin from Coldplay's ex-wife Gwyneth Paltrow to be their spokesperson on this?
Yes.
Like some candle trick thing?
I'm trying to figure out, was this a setup? I mean, I don't want to say that there's conspiracies everywhere. However, this is amusing, to say the least, but I feel like it's almost orchestrated the way this is played.
I don't think it was a setup. I think they have a very astute media rep, and they're taking advantage of earned attention.
Well, and the other thing
in
too
a humorous way.
And I also got to remember, Coldplay didn't fire him. Coldplay did not fire him. Astronomer fired him.
Right.
Yes. So if your old board thinks you're a liability, then it's not Chris Martin's fault.
Right. That's exactly right.
Well, he supposedly stepped down. Of course, you wonder whether he was pressured to or not. But I think we all agree that going after Coldplay would be a bad move. It'd be pretty much dead on arrival. But if he was going to sue anybody, and again, it's still probably a bad move, but wouldn't you sue Astronomer, like you said, for wrongful termination? If you're going to go after anybody, go after the company that you left from, not Coldplay.
Well, if you look at it like this, if you look at your least greatest chance of losing, that's probably the way to go.
There we go. Yes, I like the way you phrased that.
Yes.
Exactly right.
So I'm sitting there like, okay, so you can't sue Coldplay because they were just there. You're at a concert, no reasonable expectation of privacy. They tell you on the ticket that your image may be used. They tell you this at Nikki Blaine's. When you come down here, you may be used in camera footage. It's right there on the door when you walk in. This isn't hard to figure out.
I've been to Nikki Blaine's a number of times, and I've never noticed that on the door. I'm going to have to look for that now.
It's by the men's room.
Okay.
Yeah. So, which I think is funny. So this concert was 2 weeks ago today. So 2 weeks ago tonight is when this happened.
Was that just 2 weeks
ago?
ago?
That was just 2 weeks ago. We're only
feels like a lifetime.
We're only 13 and a half days since this has happened, which, yeah, talk about how it is woven its way into pop culture. I was at a parade up in Whiting, Indiana on Friday. Pierogi Fest was going on. And in that parade, they had an entry that it said Coldplay photo booth. And it was these two people pushing this thing around on wheels, and then they kept ducking down out of the frame of the photo booth. It was hilarious.
Well, that's how you know you made popular culture, because if they wouldn't do it if no one got the joke.
Nope, exactly.
Has this been on Saturday Night Live yet?
Oh my God! Saturday Night Live, I think, is on summer break, so they have not had a live show.
The Philly Frenetic.
That was another great one.
Yeah. Their giant green mascot.
Okay.
It reenacted the same the same thing at like one of the sports games. So yeah, I mean it's everywhere. It's gotten
maybe
everywhere.
the Indians should have Coldplay night.
Oh, absolutely they should. And yeah,
you can see.
Well, even the next day, and I think at that Phillies game where the Philly Fanatic was there was some guy that had a sign that said, "This is my wife," with an arrow when the kiss cam came up. So that way, you know. But yes,
or here's the other thing: don't cheat.
Don't cheat. Well, that's the other thing. If there's any sort of a lawsuit, there was that third woman or the other woman that was there that also worked for the company. Then you bring her in and you have to depose her and say, all right, how long did you know about this relationship? They handled it poorly on what should have been a 3-second thing on a video board. They could have just stood there. Yep. But instead, it's now a thing, and everybody's out of a job. And although Gwyneth has been great for Gwyneth Paltrow, she has a new job.
Been great for the attorneys too. The attorneys always win.
Abdul.
Yes, we do. Because people do stupid things. If people didn't do stupid things, I'd be out of a job. I'd be out of all my jobs.
So the reason why I wanted to have you on this segment, Abdul, is because you know a thing or two about defamation and walking through the defamation process. So,
actually, I was just working on that when you guys called me today.
Amazing. So for the uninitiated, and of course we know that the astronomer CEO Andy Byron doesn't stand a snowball's chance in Ecuador of winning this thing, but walk us through what a successful defamation claim would actually look like, and what facts do you actually have to prove in order to make that successful?
Well, there are basically two types of defamation. Technically 4 types. There's regular defamation, which I say something bad about you, it's published, it's communicated to a third party, you suffer damages or an injury. And then there's what's called defamation per se, where I accuse you of a crime. And then once I accuse you of a crime, then a whole other set of things fall into play. Now, with that said, there's also what's called defamation for regular people, say, Kevin over there, and then there's defamation for people like me, who's more of a public type figure. For a public figure, I gotta have a little bit. I have a little bit extra special sauce in a nutshell. And so, let's say if someone says Abdul's an ass, which my wife calls me every morning when I wake up, that's not defamation. That's probably a fact of life. However, Abdul's an ass who's a pedophile and child rapist. That's defamation per se. And that gets you in trouble, and that gets somebody a $400,000 settlement because he's on the market selling right now.
Ethan, I feel like you can't even walk to lunch with Abdul without somebody defaming him on the sidewalk.
It seems that way these days.
And then I just get a cha-ching. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Can I get your name and address?
Yeah, just ask Mr. David Waters and Jeremiah Tevabo.
So you mentioned limited liability from a public figure. Now, since Andy Byron is a CEO, would he qualify for that? Is he a pseudo public figure by proxy of his position?
He could be sort of what's called a limited purpose public figure.
You know the exact term.
It's sort of that halfway between you're sort of famous but not necessarily infamous. And then it's
infamous
like, hey,
now.
Yeah, exactly. Who's that Andy guy? Yeah, that's him. Like,
yeah, that's my neighbor. He's CEO of some company.
Yeah, but the thing is, had they not done anything, nobody would probably knew who they were.
No.
Period.
Well, that's the thing, because I know that the MS building is owned and operated by Jeff Samuelian, but I would not be able to pick Jeff Samuelian up out of a lineup. So if we're both at a sports game and they put Jeff Samuelian up on the Jumbotron and he's doing something untoward, I wouldn't know. As long as he acts normal, nobody would nobody bat an eye.
Right. Yeah, that's just it. I mean, I'm sure that this dude probably told his wife, it's like, yes, we're having this work function. We're going to a concert tonight. I'll be home afterwards. And, so it would not have been unreasonable for him to be in a camera shot with this woman, but it's how they reacted.
Yeah.
Let's put it this
and he
way.
had his arms around her. That's
I would much rather deal with that defamation suit than deal with my wife. Let's put it that way. Like, you think you're in trouble now. You ain't seen that. It's like perfect thing. I know you guys are short on time. When we were growing up on a military base, my little brothers would occasionally get in trouble, and they get picked up by the MPs. And so the MP was like, hey, we're going to call your parents. Like, no, just leave me down here. I'm safer in jail right now than when my father gets a hold of me. And that's what this is. Like, you're probably just safer dealing with the defamation than all the stuff that's coming later.
Well, it went viral so fast. So like I said, that was Thursday night was when that concert happened. Casey, I know, was talking about it on this show on Friday morning. So, in 12 hours, less than 12 hours, that thing went from Boston, I think is where it happened, to we're talking about it in Indy. I mean, it was everywhere.
It's like a virus.
It is. Exactly.
A social media virus. Hey, Abdul, we got about 40 seconds to go. You're always a busy guy. Tell us what you got on the agenda for this weekend.
Actually, I'm in Michigan this weekend, so there is no show this weekend.
What's in Michigan?
The second largest comic book store in the country, and a beach for my wife, and all sorts of fun things in between the comic book store and the beach.
Oh, that'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be relaxed.
Yes, I will. Then come back and do all this foolishness when I get back on Monday.
Lots of relaxing things at the dispensary. Thanks for listening, and thanks for coming in, Abdul.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. This is Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein, who are filling in on the Kendall and Casey show. Don't miss a moment. We still got a lot to go.
Hey, it's Matt Baer for Cochran Exteriors. Don't wait to beautify your home for summer for a fresh new look and increased home value. New siding by Cochran Exteriors is the answer. From James Hardy fiber cement siding to a big array of vinyl siding colors and styles, the experienced pros at Cochran have all the choices, plus a lifetime workmanship warranty and over 10,000 satisfied customers. For your free estimate, call Cochran Exteriors at 317-ROOFING or visit CochranExteriors.com. Tell them I sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A shift in the weather. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Thursday morning was wet, but things clear up for the rest of the day.
Once we get it through the afternoon today, we're expecting dry weather Friday through Sunday. We're going to have pleasant conditions with temperatures in the upper 70s, and the big difference we're going to see is much less humidity. We're going to have dew points in the upper 50s, which is going to feel pretty good.
National Weather Service forecaster Andrew White says the weekend will be dry and showers are possible again starting Monday. A man is dead in South Bend after exchanging gunfire with police who were serving a drug-related warrant, barricading himself inside a house, and then shooting himself. 5 people are injured in a house explosion in Jeffersonville Wednesday night. Investigators are at the scene trying to figure out what caused the explosion. And the Fever will go for 4 in a row tomorrow night in Dallas after defeating Phoenix last night 107-101. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
So, where's the lake?
Not here.
But it says Great Lakes Honda Fishers.
Right. I just don't see a lake.
Who needs a lake when you can lease a 2025 HRV LX all-wheel drive for $329 a month and 0 down?
That definitely won't soak our bank account.
Oh, it's the old Honda Fishers.
Great Lakes, great people, great cars.
But no actual lake.
Visit us off State Road 37 for special pricing during our summer sales event. With approved credit through Honda Financial. In-stock new Hondas only, not combinable with other offers. All fees due at signing. Loyalty or conquest rebates may apply. Offer ends July 31st. See dealer for details.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Great song selection from producer Kev. This is the Kendall and Casey show. 93 WIBC, Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in. And what better summertime activity is there, Brad, than attending the Indiana State Fair? I love the Indiana State Fair. It is by far one of the best highlights every year. I've never had a bad day at the State Fair. How can you have a bad day at the State Fair? There's Midway, there's animals, there's music, there's tchotchkes, there's food, there's anything and everything. And wonderful people in between. I love going to the state fair. What say you, Brad?
I would agree. Which I like a good festival. I like a good party.
You went to a Pierogi Fest.
That's why I was in Whiting for Pierogi Fest last Friday.
Now tell people what a pierogi is, because I actually was introduced to pierogies by my Pennsylvania friend a couple of years ago. I'd never had a pierogi before.
So pierogies are typically it's like a Polish dumpling. Pretty much any society has their version of a dumpling.
Sure.
But this is about the size of a clam. And
it's like a potato thing,
It's stuffed with potato, and it could have sauerkraut or cheese, or they probably had 25 different types of pierogies up there.
The potato's inside of it? I thought the potato was the dumpling material.
Well,
I don't know.
No, so it's like a dough on the outside, and you got a filling. So the potato and whatever else is in there is the filling that goes in it. So
see, I've had a pierogi a couple of times, and I still don't know what the damn thing is.
Right, exactly. It's basically a big dumpling.
It's potato, it's starch, it's tasty, it's good, it's fried. Anytime you fry something, it's going to find a home in the state of Indiana.
So this festival, apparently it started off 35 years ago as a small thing. They probably had, I think they said they were going to get about 100,000 people a day that were going to show up, but this was 4 blocks long. On either side of the street, it was vendors shoulder to shoulder. So I'm guessing, I don't know, 40 vendors, maybe 50 vendors, and they all had pierogies and various other things, a lot of Polish sausage. They had beer tents. They had like 5 live music stages.
100,000 people a day?
100,000 a day.
How long was this festival going on?
3 days. It was
3
Friday,
days?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, well, hey, that stacks up at least pretty decent for a small town festival compared to the Indiana State Fair, which usually sees about 800 to 900,000 attendees, and hopefully we'll get a bunch coming this year.
Yeah. So when you go, what is the first thing you do when you go to the fair?
First thing I do is check out the Pioneer Village. I always go the rear entrance, because you can usually find a good place to park over there by what used to be the Farm Bureau building that is now, I think, the State Farm building.
Maybe.
I believe
or do you
so.
park at the deaf school?
I park near the deaf school, right?
Okay.
Right in the rear, and then walk in through the Farm Bureau building, check out whatever they've got going on in there, check out the I can't remember the name of the structure with the solar panels on it, and the farming structure. And then I love to check out everything in the Pioneer Village. All those, you know how much I love antiques. So
well, that's just it. I was gonna say that is right up your alley.
Yeah,
because yes, you
sure.
like anything that's 100 years old.
Well, and getting to see the way things were made 100 years ago, like you said, and the machinery that is still in operation and being kept alive by the love and perseverance of people who are stewards of that history.
Yes. The antique tractors are a must-see for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love seeing the old tractors, and you're right, it's amazing. I mean, just like classic cars, it's amazing that these things all still run and they've been kept up, and to see the various designs that were on them. And then the food. Now, do you go to the Midway at all?
No, I always skip the Midway. See,
I do too.
I am a man of tradition, and I've been doing the state fair the same way since I was but a lad, and I always make sure to make my way around the entire loop, and then I usually like to get the highlights of the fair food, because why I come to the state fair, I come to eat. I come to get all my fried fixins. Yep. I like an elephant ear, I like a corn dog, I like a ribeye sandwich, I like a margarita, I like a turkey leg, and I don't have as big of an appetite as I used to. I lost a bunch of weight, so now I got to share a lot of this with somebody so that way I can actually eat my way around the state fair, and then maybe check out one of the new specialty items that they're selling as well. Always got to get some cotton candy, always got to get some of that kettle corn that's sold right next to the DNR building. Oh my God, that's fantastic. They've been at that spot for years, and they got that big cast iron kettle that they cook it all in right in front of you. It's always wafting through the air. It smells fantastic. What about you, Brad? What's your state fair tradition?
I love to go, and I always hit the Dairy Barn because I got to have a milkshake. My whatever big meal I'll have will either be at the pork tent or the beef tent, because I love going to the producer tents. Plus, it supports the producers. I'm not as big of a fan of just the carny vendors that are there.
And how can you forget? Since you mentioned the producers and the animals, how can you forget about the animals? I like seeing the.
I will go into the hog barn and look at the hogs, walk around on sheep barn.
What about the Afro ducks? I always get a kick out of the Afro ducks.
I love the fancy chickens.
Yeah, they're cool too.
So I go to that. I do like to go into the commercial building just to see who's giving away good stuff, because they do give away a lot of good stuff there at the fair.
Yeah, that's very true.
And
the 4-H building, all those kids and their projects. Some of those kids are really artistic.
Oh, screw those kids. No, I'm just teasing 4-Hers. I love you.
The sculptures, the art, the little budding entomologists there with their bug collections. Always like seeing all the bugs pinned up, the beetles, the things that are collected around the state that you really never even see unless you're going and looking for them, like these little 6th grade kids.
Yep. Now,
Cool.
have you ever taken the tram that goes overhead?
Oh yeah. Oh, the tram that goes overhead. No, yeah. I take the tram around
the one that's pulled by the tractor you've taken, but they've also got the overhead,
the sky lift,
whatever
the ski
that is.
chairs, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
no.
I'm not taking that. Someday I want to do it. So
I've not done that, and I've not done the Ferris wheel. It's just why you got to pay for it,
right?
Paying for enough as it is.
So, and they have some pretty cool demonstrations over there. I know me and my wife went 2 or 3 years ago, and they had horses out there doing. It wasn't quite barrel racing, but they were doing all sorts of stuff with ponies, and they were doing tricks. I don't know, but yeah, I enjoy everything about it. Also, the same reason I love going to county fairs.
Yeah, in the Pepsi Coliseum, sometimes they'll put mulch down, and then they'll have the wagon exhibitions where they have teams of horses pulling around these incredibly ornate wagons. It's wonderful. It's neat.
How long until you get your own Conestoga wagon? Since you like antiques and old stuff.
Probably not for a long time, because those things cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They are not cheap. Horses are a rich man's game. You ought to know that.
Well,
Brad.
I know horses are. If you ever want to lose a fortune, buy some horses.
The horses are expensive, and then the thing that the horses are pulling is expensive. I don't have that kind of disposable
income. We'll get you a powered Conestoga wagon.
Days.
We'll put a lawnmower engine in it, and you can putz on down the road.
I have to at least triple my real estate empire before I could contemplate a purchase like that.
Speaking of which, Jim Irsay's house is on the market.
Turn that into an Airbnb.
Yes, are you going to buy
that? We'll see. We'll see. I'll have to contact the bank for a loan.
I know some bankers. It's, you never know. It's the end of the month. They might need to loan some money.
What say you, producer Kev? You a big fan of the Indiana State Fair? What is your State Fair tradition?
I always enjoy just going to the concerts on the stage by the Coliseum, and also when it gets very hot, I like to go into the Coliseum and check out the livestock, or what is it? They have some kind of competition in there.
They have multiple competitions in the Coliseum, and then now that is usually where they display some of the award-winning produce that's cultivated around the state, like in the lobby area. And so you can see unusually sized pieces of corn, or incredibly large watermelons, or pumpkins, or squash, or whatever. I mean, it's
the giant hogs.
Yeah. With the big old nuts.
Yes, oh my gosh.
They measure the nuts. That's what I remember.
Yeah. So, did you volunteer for that job, Kevin?
No, I was just a bystander. I was
You're just a victim.
Make one of the 4-H kids do it. They like it. But yeah, Indiana State Fair, a great Hoosier tradition, and hey, make sure to attend at least one of the days, if not multiple days this year.
Hammer and Nigel are going to be out there at the.
They're going to be there tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
yeah,
yes, and you can go out and have beers with them. Which I have not.
Or several beers, as the case may apply.
Yeah, so now I have not taken advantage of having a beer at the fair, and now I think they have spirits out there. So that's a whole nother realm. When Kevin mentioned the concerts, I forget about you've got the live entertainment. Shoot, that's like a giant beer tent.
Yeah, it's a little expensive. You're talking about like $12 or more for just a little glass of beer.
For one beer?
Yeah, it's not cheap.
Ooh.
But they price it that way, so that way you don't get too drunk and rowdy in the fairgrounds. I get it.
I do kind of get that.
That's it is priced for entry.
So it's a profit deal is what you're saying.
93 WIBC, Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in on the Kendall and Casey show. Of course, one of the biggest aspects of the state fair is how unhealthy the food is, but that's okay because you're paying for it with your own money. But one of the things that's been under debate since RFK has taken charge of reforming American health and trying to make America healthy again is by allowing states to determine or remove unhealthy food items from being covered by SNAP. This is something that's been discussed in Indiana. We took one of the leads in removing, I think, candy and soda from being covered by the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program because it's not very nutritious when you're spending your money on sodas and candy. They are now also discussing this in Texas as well. I believe it is SB SB 379. Yes, SB 379 that is working its way through the Texas Senate. It's been approved and sent over to the Texas House. But you won't believe who is opposing removing soda and candy from SNAP. And that would be the American Heart Association.
What? Come
Yes.
on, man.
I often say that I can never be surprised in this building, but for the American Heart Association to be against this bill.
SB 379 seeks to remove soda, candy, potato and corn chips, and cookies from the list of items eligible for purchase with SNAP.
My name is Alec Puente, and I'm the Director of Government Relations for the American Heart Association. I'm here to testify today in opposition to Senate Bill 379.
I would encourage you to look at what it restricts.
The Heart Association is concerned about potential impacts of this bill on participation and population health. Imposing nutritional restrictions will interfere with the primary function of SNAP, reducing hunger, without reducing root causes of chronic disease.
I'm here because I want to support the children on this program and protect them from the chronic disease that sugar will lead them to develop. I actually advocated for this bill in Arizona and was shocked by the big soda companies sending their own person to come and advocate for the fact that there's no correlation between soda consumption and obesity, which is just a straight up lie.
Peanut butter. It just fills the cracks of the heart. Go away, pain.
So, yeah, I mean, sure, you would understand the soda lobby, not wanting to be cut off from the grift, but the American Heart Association saying that removing unhealthy food items from government assistance doesn't address the root cause of the problem. I dare say, Brad, that if you are a diabetic, the root cause is soda, is sugar. Don't be stuffing your face with it.
The bigger shock to me is that you are allowed to buy those things in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, this coming from a man who drinks 5 Diet Dr. Peppers a day. I'm a bit of a soda overachiever, but that is a luxury item. It is a treat. It is not. There's nothing nutritious about candy or soda. It provides zero nutrition. So if the whole goal of this program is to provide you with nutrition to get you on down the road and grow strong bones, it should be going to milk, vegetables, meat, regular meals, not candy and soda.
Soda and candy are basically just sugar, and while it might be providing you with a caloric intake that will keep your body going for a certain amount of time, without supplementing that with actual vitamins, minerals, and the things that your body needs to continue to function, you will quickly find yourself at a nutritional deficit by exclusively eating these items. And when you examine how money is being spended through the SNAP program, most of it, a good chunk of it, I think the number one expenditure, in fact, is soda, and then other sweets. Candy rounding out the top 5. Chips, I think, is number 2. A lot of unhealthy foods. And if the government's going to be providing your nutrition, then nutrition, it's in the name, is what should be provided.
Yeah. Now, Ethan, I learned this several years ago, and when I ran for lieutenant governor in 2012.
Remember that.
But so they always talk about the farm bill and on how that's for farmers. Like over 70% of the farm bill and the USDA budget goes towards SNAP and student lunches, school lunches, and that sort of thing. I mean, none of that is there to really help the farmers other than get people to consume the goods that they produce. And yeah, it's fascinating how much money goes into these programs, and to find out that it's going towards candy and sodas it's no wonder we have deficits.
Not a lot of sugarcane farming going on in the United States.
No, in fact, sugar beets is what provides most of the sugar in the United States, or corn syrup.
Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. This is the Kendall and Casey Show. Ethan Hatcher and Brad Klopfenstein filling in. Coming up next, Brad, I wanted to take a few moments and remember the passing of an icon, individual who we lost 5 years ago yesterday, as a matter of fact. He ran in the Republican primaries for the 2012 presidency. Herman Cain. We'll do a remembrance coming up next. Stay tuned.
Hammer and Nigel Show, we got a lot of giveaways for you. Tickets to go see Kansas with Jefferson Starship. Tickets to go see Jason Aldean. Tickets to the Indiana State Fair. The biggest stories, the biggest laughs, 93 WIBC.
supercar is more than just a car. You need more than just a garage. Expert-level automotive service, customization, and care is available for you at GR Brands campus in Zionsville. Home to Graham Rahal Performance and Rahal Paint Protection. From routine maintenance to custom tuning and parts, paint protection film, window tint, and ceramic coating to full-scale custom builds, GR Brands is your all-in-one destination. GR Brands also offers a curated selection of rare supercars when you're ready to elevate your collection. If your passion rests on two wheels, Rahal Power Sports on the GR Brands campus is for you. Featuring Ducati, Piaggio, Vespa, Aprilia, and Moto Guzzi. Whether you're a collector, a casual rider, or a monster on the track, you'll find the service, sales, and support every rider needs. The perfect ride for your lifestyle is waiting at Rahal Power Sports. Start riding or expand and enhance your two-wheel collection today. From the neighborhood to the track, Rahal Power Sports will help you do it with confidence and style. Make every drive and every ride extraordinary. Start now at GrahamRahal.com/GRBrands.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69. Because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will. Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
Two of the best summertime traditions are back. The Indiana State Fair and the Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. This year featuring the key lime pie milkshake and the smoked Gouda Q grilled cheese with Gouda cheddar barbecue sauce on Texas toast. The Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar since 1941. Open 9 to 9 at the Indiana State Fair, across from the Coliseum. Brought to you by American Dairy Association Indiana, your Hoosier Dairy Farm families. Find out more at winnersdrinkmilk.com.
Make this your year. Looking for a new career in the high-demand fields of IT and cybersecurity? Attend classes live online or on campus. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Bozeman. Wait, hey, Mr. Bozeman.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kendall and Casey Show with Ethan and Brad filling in. Thanks for spending your time with us this morning, Brad. I think it's been an amazing show. I've had a lot of fun.
Ethan, it's been a blast, man. I enjoy getting together with you.
Gotten through a lot of topics. It's been a good conversation. And if you missed a moment, you can find the podcast uploaded to WIBC.com on the Kendall and Casey Show page. You can also find my show uploaded to the podcast. I'm the host of the weekend show Saturday night on The Circle, airing from 7 to 9 every Saturday. And yeah, thanks for all the support. This segment, of course, I wanted to discuss the passing of an icon. 5 years ago, as of yesterday, it would be Herman Cain. He was one of the Republican primary challengers in the 2012 presidential election, and we really had a pretty good lineup of Republican challengers, including Ron Paul. I mean, you had so many good choices that you could have ended up with in 2012, and we settled for Mittens. What a mistake that was. What a mistake that was. I still wonder today what the world might look like had he secured the presidential nomination. What would the Republican Party look like if there was a Herman Cain presidential victory in 2012? He still had, to my mind, a very compelling pitch. Do you remember? It was the 999 plan.
Correct. Which, yeah, Herman Cain was a Tea Party activist, and but he'd been CEO
of Godfather's Pizza.
Godfather's Pizza.
I think he also worked for the Federal Reserve.
Reserve of Kansas City. Yeah. He was with Burger King and Pillsbury.
Very illustrious career, very intelligent individual. He also was a broadcaster, and he would fill in from time to time on the Rush Limbaugh show, which, I mean, anybody who's worked in broadcasting knows it takes an incredible amount of talent to be entertaining for 3 hours, especially when you are hosting that solo for an already illustrious show like the Limbaugh program, and he was able to do it with one hand tied behind his back. It was great. Great stuff.
Incredibly smart guy.
Yeah, very articulate. And, of course, for those who forget the 999 plan, he said if the Lord's not taking 10%, then why should the federal government? It was a 9% income tax, 9% corporate tax, and then 9% sales tax. And it would have provided all the revenue that you need to fund, or what should fund, a responsible federal government. Love that idea.
You would think, which, the world would be a very different place if, Herman Cain would have had the nomination, if Ron Paul would have gotten a nomination, if Rand Paul would have had a nomination.
But in remembrance of his passing, I thought we would play a song. This was actually written by one of his detractors, but you know what? It's still catchy, and I love Herman Cain. Let's listen to Tim Heidecker's Cain's Skiffle for Kendall and Casey Thursday Music Moment.
1, 2, 3, 4. Herman Cain is his name, so you better ride that train. Get on your knees and pray for the Cain. You gotta pray for Cain. Pray for Cain, yeah, you pray for Cain, and then you get on your knees. And you thank the Lord that the Lord has come. Yes, the Lord is Cain. Pray for Cain, you gotta pray for Cain. It's the Cain train. Pray for Cain, you gotta pray for Cain. It's the Cain train. Pray for Cain, you gotta pray for Cain. It's the Cain train. Okay.
Five years ago today, Herman Cain sadly died. I believe it was the age of 74, but he lived a pretty productive, rich, and successful life.
He got his master's degree from Purdue. He's a Boilermaker.
Yeah, didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mind wanders. Where we would be today had he won the Republican primary. I think it would have been a fascinating contrast between the policies of Herman Cain and Barack Obama at the time, and then they also couldn't play the race card, because Mittens, he was a pasty fellow.
He was lily white.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Mormon thing probably, in the big scheme of things, didn't help him a bunch.
Oh, really? You think it was a response to being a Mormon?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it was a response to being an East Coast Republican, because he just did not offer much contrast between himself and Barack Obama. And then, of course, he had also passed the framework for what eventually became Obamacare, with his own version of government-sponsored health care there in Massachusetts. It was Romney Care.
Yes, that's true. So, Ethan, who do the Republicans have? Who are they looking at? Who are the Democrats looking at, you think, next time around?
Oh, I don't know. It's too far to say at this point. I think Ron DeSantis is still currying the idea of potentially appearing on the national stage. He continues to curry media favor and attention for himself. I think that is a calculated decision, and he probably has his eyes on the presidency once again. We shall see. I would be a supporter.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you supporting the Kendall and Casey show. I've had a blast today, and thanks for being with me, Brad.
Ethan, it's been a pleasure.
Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. Tony Katz is coming up next.
Oh, you better wait a minute,
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-445-6363. That's 1-800-445-6363.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers. Come see the full line of breathtaking Lincoln vehicles at Indiana's premier Lincoln dealership. From the moment you arrive at Tom Roush Lincoln, you'll know you've arrived. Shop over 200 new Lincolns in our state-of-the-art family-owned and operated dealership with no pressure. Just the award-winning service and respect you deserve. Plus, with any new Lincoln, your first 5 oil changes are on us. Luxury awaits you at Tom Roush Lincoln & Fishers.
First 5 oil changes complimentary with any new Lincoln purchase or lease. See dealer for complete details.
Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's. 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 Puccini's Pizza, Pasta, Puccini's.
I had changed the locks. Didn't even know where she was living. And then one night she calls to say she's getting treatment. Can I drive? I almost hung up. But then I thought, that's my kid. I chose to put away the hurt and the fear and just see my girl.
Addiction is a disease. Standing by a loved one as they fight it will test your faith, patience, and sanity. But it's possible when you see the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Make summer nights unforgettable with Indy Decorative Concrete. Get 50% off a stunning fire pit with their best stamped concrete patio package. Offer ends September 1st. IndyDecorativeConcrete.com.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC Indianapolis.
Coming up. He's a grown man in a cat suit.
We are still in active bargaining. The company's still agreeing to meet at the table.
There will be another flood.
Gen Z adults are not splashing out for big dates.
This is the WIBC News at noon.
If you go here, you'll have lots to see and study. Cloudy with some light rain on radar, 69 degrees in the Circle City. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 12 noon. North America's largest tabletop gaming convention features dice, costumes, and plenty of role-playing. Ryan Hedrick reports from Gen Con in Indianapolis. He's a grown man in a cat suit, and at Gen Con, he can be anybody he wants to be.
I made the goggles, the outfit, and then some of the little bits that I fixed up on the inside of the mask.
How long have you been in costume?
Today or just in general?
Today.
Only like 30 minutes, but it's going to be all day.
And in case you're wondering, he spent $1,500 to become a cat. We also crossed paths with a full-blown barbarian. How often do you get into character?
I try to do costumes at every convention I go to. I've been doing it for like 10 years.
At Gen Con, James says people suit up and become the heroes of their favorite stories. And then there's Brian, co-creator of a new card game.
Everybody, 2 to 6 players, gets to be a different thief. Each thief has a little bit different thing that they can do in this game. You're all in this tavern scene. You can steal the most stuff from the patrons that are coming in.
So if you want to roll dice and don some gear and escape reality for a while, Gen Con's the place to be. Reporting from the Indiana Convention Center, Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News. Fox Corporation is acquiring a 1/3 interest in Penske Entertainment. Leaders of both IndyCar and Fox say this will enhance promotion and star building opportunities for the IndyCar drivers and allow them to have a more hyper-engaged digital strategy, among other things. The deal also includes a multi-year extension of Fox Sports media rights for IndyCar. Penske Entertainment owns the Indianapolis